Alrighty, my gamers. Guilty Gear people. Hope y'all enthusiastic Strive followers had fun watching KaitouDandy Cup Top 8 today. Congratulations, of course, to Andros for grabbing the big W. Surely a huge victory, you know, both on personal front, but also for the Potemkin gang. It's been a sort of long time coming. I think it's been a while since we've seen, you know, any notable Potemkin success in, you know, big events such as this. But for now, we're taking a short venture into slightly more relaxed competitive activities. This is weekly Bounty Hunters that you're watching right now, and we're a show match event open to everyone to participate. The name of the game is Guilty Gear Strive, and the format is first to 7 wins. The other popular format, in addition to a double elimination brackets. I would say still double elimination brackets is super saturating the market, especially on the European front. So yeah, we offer a little bit of a different experience if you want to get your toes wet with competitive stuff. I'm your usual host, Kyuke, and without further pleasantries, let's start talking about what's happening tonight. I'm a little short on preparation, but yeah, we'll, you know, as per usual, we'll do it live. We'll do it the best we can, and we'll have fun. We're starting really fast and furious tonight, as our highest level gameplay match is gonna be hitting the shelves first, so to speak, with KaitouDandy and Annatonio clashing limbs first. Especially Kaito has been, I think, in a way, a sort of, how should I put it, like a superstar player for Bounty Hunters, has taken every one of their matches very convincingly that they've showed up on. There hasn't been anyone to truly challenge KaitouDandy so far. And we're gonna have to see if Annatonio will be the one. Slightly, I think, different matchup in terms of mobility, how, you know, many of the matchups so far have unfolded for Kaito, as you know, Annatonio with the Giovanna is gonna be moving around fast and gonna be striking fast from various angles as well. Of course, other high-level action to follow, especially if you're a fan of, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, if you're part of the Hoplan fan club, as I am, a lot of Finns are super enthusiastic about whenever Hoplan plays. That's gonna be in the matchup slot number 3, when Aatreus and Hoplan meet on the field of battle. Also, Hoplan, also known as Gaplan in Finland, the bringer of extremely enjoyable games, no matter what matchup. And I think Aatreus is, you know, part of the same gang as well. It kind of goes with certain, like, some of these characters do tend to bring extremely exciting gameplay to the table, like, no matter what kind of matchup we're talking about player-wise. You know, characters like Nago, very fast and furious. Anji, lots of gambling, lots of risk-taking. That's fun to watch. Characters like Sol as well, which we do have in the matchup slot number 2, where Winters is making their debut on Bounty Hunters. Other debut players tonight will also be Zash, Zato, that rare breed of characters, in the matchup slot number 4. I'm really good at math, I swear. But also making their debuts tonight is, at the end of the roster, KaraKoi. So Koi is a very interesting player that you should probably know if you've been following the scene, but hasn't showed up on Bounty Hunters so far. A player capable of piloting very many different characters at very, or let's say, decently high level. Of course, it depends on your point of view, at what skill level you are personally, because you of course look at things through your own lens. But interesting about this match, so Decoy Snail versus Koi, is that I think originally Koi signed up with Leo, but upon seeing that it is indeed gonna be that Jacko player, Decoy, and of course having a little bit of respect, of course knowing what they're gonna face as well, sort of had a proposition that we're gonna run it as Anji versus Jacko instead, which of course is completely fine with us. I think Decoy has taken out Anji players before on Bounty Hunters, right? I think Poke versus Decoy has happened at some point. Let me actually refer to my data sheet. I'm actually super interested. I'm pretty sure there's just so many. I mean, Decoy is one of our go-to Jacko players, so there's of course going to be a shit ton of matches that Decoy has played. Yeah, there's a couple of Anji matches back to back. There was one point where Decoy played Mellow Rage Anji and then a couple of weeks after that Pokey Anji, and was able to take out Pokey, went really close with Mellow Rage. So definitely a matchup that Decoy should have a little bit of matchup experience in at least. Although rumor has it that Decoy has been taking a little bit of a sabbatical, or maybe what's a step before sabbatical, like a small break from Guilty Gear Strive as of recent. But you know what they say about fighting games, it's kind of like driving a bicycle. You de-rust pretty fast if it hasn't been like half a year or more. Double chip also on the table. Emu and Nex are piloting those. Nex is also like relatively new player. I think Nex has been on Bounty Hunters only once before, if I'm not mistaken. That would be right. In fact, that was last week Nex made their debut against Mob Testament. So we're gonna do a rerun this time, see how it goes. But since we're drawing pretty close to 5 p.m. CET, maybe we should direct our attention to the number 1 matchup slot of the evening, which is gonna be hot. Give me a short moment, I'll inform the players that it is getting close to a go time. I think Annatonio also had a desire to watch some football after this, so that's the reason why we are playing this one first, even though we're generally trying to play the matches from sort of like beginner to intermediate to pre-advanced to advanced and superstar in terms of like how the flow of the show goes. And KaitouDandy. Let me get the lobby code as well. Let me also make sure that I don't nuke the lobby. I think there's like a 20 minute, 25 minute sort of timing. If you don't do anything in your own lobby, it's gonna expire. But yeah, these two characters and these two players, a lot of things to say about that. So Kaito, so far, pretty unchallenged. The power level, the explosiveness of this character Slayer cannot be understated. It's really interesting that after the release, Slayer has like slowly, I don't want to say declined in high-level competitive appearances, but certainly still like Slayer is one of those, evergreen, extremely popular characters. Just like Johnny is like Slayer, Johnny, that kind of characters are always really popular when they get introduced in a new Guilty Gear game. But yeah, of course, Slayer basically embodies the formula that is Guilty Gear Strive, in my opinion. Like really, really good risk reward, does a lot of damage, can force you to guess. Especially that part, forcing you to guess at almost every part of the match is really powerful in Guilty Gear Strive, especially if you're like a sort of, what should we call it? I guess we could call Slayer like a big body in a sense. He takes very little damage, delivers a lot of damage himself, and has certain kind of mobility problems, but not that kind of mobility problems, because like he does not have a standard dash forward, but the tools that he has kind of covers him, as you have tools such as like K-Mappa that plummets you forward really fast. You have your step dash that is really hard to react to, which can be followed up by, new moves. And it's kind of like the same conundrum as with Johnny to a certain extent. You gotta always be ready. Like if the forward dash comes at neutral, then are you ready to stop it, or is the opponent just gonna press another button? Because if you don't press a button, if you don't contest Slayer easily gets into that like really critical state in their pressure where you're just guessing for left rights, you're, you know, underdog in terms of risk reward. You're gonna take Master's Hammer if you're just being too passive, and it's gonna be a nightmare very, very fast. So Annatonio will definitely have to be active. Being active is kind of like where playing against Slayer begins, in my opinion. In just about any Guilty Gear game, it's always been the same. You can't be too passive. Of course, you will get punished big time for being wrong, but if you're never gambling, if you're never participating in the RPS, then you're gonna be wrong by default. Because Slayer will come for you, and then you're in big trouble. Such as, like here, tries to backdash out of the Master's Hammer. Had the 50 meter there. Decent amount of risk built. But now, if Annatonio managed to get out of here, that was a really nice challenge. Speaking of those challenges, you gotta go for those. Sometimes it's like a fast 5-frame 2P. Sometimes it's your standing P. Sometimes you might want to pick up a button that reaches a little further, like that. You see there the spacing. The 2 heavy that KaitouDandy used was basically put outside of that 5P range where Annatonio was able to break out of that situation in the left corner. So you gotta be ready, and you gotta be ready to sort of rotate your options as well, depending on what Slayer is gonna be like. Able to backdash out of the Master's Hammer this time. I wonder if you probably have to be pretty late there on that reaction. And now Annatonio's turn. We have decent amount of resources in terms of the tension bar. Look at that. Definitely not the only damage dealing character here, KaitouDandy with Slayer. And now from the close slash, you know this pressure structure. YRC on the second close slash. You can't take too many of those. Even if you take those on block without FD block, it's gonna plummet your risk gauge really, really fast. Or sorry, the other word for plummeting, rise. You're gonna make your risk gauge just soar into the skies really fast. Ooh, got there, straight hit from 2D. However, the meaty, or perhaps Annatonio was going for a throw here, which will be read by Kaito. There are a lot of different things that could happen in situations like this. That's kind of hard to determine as a spectator. It's like, was he going for a throw? Was he just trying to perhaps read a backdash and delay their options? Or was it just a mistiming on the meaty? A very nice instant air dash here for Annatonio, plus frames, of course, from the spiral arrow. That's another tool that kind of abuses the opponent the same way as Slayer tends to do with you. If you don't challenge, if you are not active, that spiral arrow is just gonna generate plus frames for you. Alright, and so, ooh, here we go. We have 50 meter to go for another one. And of course, one of the nastiest mix-ups or pressure resets is that B Dandy step into pile bunker. Nice, the step. Command grab. Tried to go for it again, I think, but Annatonio just didn't want to take it twice in a row. Able to build into the 50 meter just in the nick of time. We get the hard knockdown here. But Kaito now has some extra options for himself as well. It's like, one of the things though is that if you have 50 meter, you can't reversal super anymore as Dead on Time, or the Super Mappa Hunch as they call it in Guilty Gear Strive. Just does not work as a reversal anymore. But to compensate for that, you've got some better opportunities from your backdash. They made it a little bit better. Now through the wall, Kaito looking for the first. Ooh, was able to actually get to the RC threshold during that dandy step. Left, right, Annatonio guesses correctly. Look at that, the very, very late second. That's so nasty. Like, you think it's gonna be your punish, because pile bunker and block extremely minus close slash amount. But in the same way that you often see from kite players, the stun dipper, extremely delayed PRC forward, that can catch you in the middle of your button if the timing just doesn't align. Or rather, if the timing on the PRC is perfect on the Slayer's department. Good block on the cross up again, tries to challenge. And now slowly the life is running out to the other side and then into, I think that was a cross up Karabite? Was that just to make sure that Annatonio is not gonna wiggle out of that one through spacing or anything like that? Alright, finds the overhead. Just give you a softish knockdown that you can follow up on. Aggressive burst to try to keep Annatonio in the corner. However, that instant air dash completely flips the situation around. YRC into cross up. Here we go. Nothing personal, kid. And that's gonna be a big universe counter hit. Despite that, you know, at this stage where stamina, or not stamina, guts will come into play, we'll be able to survive Annatonio, but ultimately, in the end, Kaito is just finding those hits very aggressively, not afraid to gamble at all, not afraid to plummet yourself forward. Because if it hits, man, you're gonna have some good rewards. All right, a little too far to get the punish here. And then has to immediately burst against the counter hit 2D. And look at this. The trajectory is forward. Second bite in a row. Third one. Are we gonna fuzzy jump? Looks like Annatonio does adapt that strategy. But then the perfect timing there on the delayed too heavy. Catching the jump out attempt. Because of course you had that universe counter hit buff after the bite that makes even normal hits hit really hard. Plus frames into a throw. Basic stuff. This is, of course, not going to deal as much damage as some of Slayer's things, so Annatonio will kind of have to make Kaito guess wrong a couple of extra times compared to what we're usually expecting from the Slayer side. There we go. Frame trap into the DP. That's a successful, really successful round for Annatonio. All we need is to get on the driver's seat early on, which is kind of hard because, you know, the limited range of Giovanna's kind of doesn't necessarily align with what Slayer wants to do. Look at that, the 2 heavy! Sorry, the 2S actually reaching far enough. Forcing Kaito to burst, straight hit out of that. RC, make sure that you have the next guess. Gotta be really careful here. Annatonio disengages while that critical buff, sorry, the counter hit buff is active. It is still active! Are you kidding me? Does it not expire? But now Annatonio still at a life lead. Burn the meter here. This shouldn't be a kill because the Slayer, the vampire, is so durable. The 2P. Oh, and a nice backdash there. Shimmying the throw at the very end. It was quite the brawl. A lot of things happened there. I think didn't probably go as, you know, as in the movies, as Annatonio probably saw it with the eyes of his soul. But, you know, you do your best. Sometimes if you miss stuff, if you drop your combos, your block strings, you can still try to go for, like, quotation reset and make the best of it, which is what Annatonio did. But while that's being talked about, Kaito with a really explosive start again to the other side, knockdown. Even if that's not a counter hit from the Master's Hammer, it's usually gonna, like, at least cause a soft knockdown that you can follow up on and get a really nice immediate burst from Kaito. There is no breaks. Gotta bite once again in the range. And finally, I mean, that's one way to make the counter hit buff expire. You hit Slayer instead. Maybe that's actually better. It's oh, again, another Karabite into far slash. Universe counter tries to go for a reset. Goes for a reset again. Annatonio 6-piece into the wrong direction. There we go, 5 heavy, big counter hit button there. Completely different kind of approach to the 5B mash that Annatonio got out of some of the earlier situations. And from that big hit, we're cashing out. Hard knockdown, this should be pretty good. Kaito can only go for maybe like a deflect shield. Never mind, what? That was a cross-up IBFD? That was an IBFD, wasn't it? Are you kidding me? That must have been a hard read of what's gonna happen, because he pushed Annatonio so far into the corner. Man, Kaito is on a completely different level here. Alright, able to dash out of the Master's Hammer once out of those 3 times. The buff is active, yeah, burst immediately. But with the 50 meter that Kaito had, would have probably ended up in a kill, and surely this will kill, right? Yeah, don't even need to complete the combo. We're at the baby steps, at the initial hits of the combat, that already deals like 1/3 of your life bar. Able to reach with that far slash. Left, right, which way? If you don't challenge, I'm gonna keep doing that. But on the other hand, if you do challenge, you put yourself in harm's way of things like Master's Hammer that can hop over you. It's really hard. This has been the fastest game so far in this set, and this is exactly the kind of stuff that Slayer does to you. You get reset once, the risk builds up, you start thinking, man, he's just dashing through me, or Dandy stepping through me with the P version. I can't let that happen, and then you get frame traps, and then that's like 70% of your life. Alright, once again, very early burst here. Nice, puts the 2D on the field, and I think that caught Kate Mappa Hunch there, didn't it? Big frame trap into the 5 heavy. This should give. Oh, never mind, a small combo drop here. Oh, don't tell me that's gonna end up in a highway robbery. One chance for KaitouDandy. Is it gonna be enough? Nice, gets a fairly safe punish here with the air throw. And able to still counter-steal the round back. I was sweating there. If Kaito actually takes that, it's way too Slayer. Really good spacing here for Annatonio. So generally, roughly the spacing you want to be at against Slayer is outside of Slayer's 2 heavy range, because that button is completely busted, but still within the range where K Mappa is going to be minus, so that it's not Slayer's turn after it hits you on block. Amazing strike throw again. We have a lot of resources, and Annatonio loves this backdash BRC mix-up so much. Ooh, there we go. That's the challenge. Even though Annatonio wasn't able to get the full punish this time around, grit buff active. That's gonna be a close slash punish. Indeed, that's gonna be the kill. The big guess when it all matters. That time Kaito did not have the 50 meter that he has had so far in pretty much every single situation where this P-Dandy into pile bunker 20 frame cross-up has happened. Annatonio maybe slowly waking up. The distance between the player score is quite a bit, but it's been a very short set nonetheless. Look at that again. The Kara bite, the perfect input to make that happen. That's a big one. Maybe the wall is gonna save Annatonio. No! Almost all of the damage is going through, and then followed up by Last Horizon. God damn. I thought the wall would favor Annatonio here, because there were a couple of hits that happened earlier, but alas, Slayer deals so much damage with single hits that even if you don't get the full combo, it's still a shit ton of damage. And I think there was a little bit of risk there as well. Slayer is, you know, one of the best characters in the game for building risk, because you can pedal those far slashes, right? And you can reset your pressure quite a bit. Again, the Dandy step punish to take a step forward, or rather backwards, and make the whiff punish happen. These two characters so good with whiff punishing, although with completely different kinds of game plans to make it happen. Whereas Giovanna is more standard, kind of like a backwalk out of it, Street Fighter kind of style with punishes. Slayer does it with a special move. You take a step back and then come back with a vengeance using one of your special moves. Right, able to get a button in there, and then got the backdash, which prompts Kaito to press the burst button. But now the second phase after the burst comes out for KaitouDandy. It's in, basically the ball is in Annatonio's court to survive the incoming onslaught, and it has been very difficult to make that happen. I think the players are roughly landing like similar amounts of hits. Here comes the red wild assault, choosing to spend, oh, the FRC low, especially since you can FRC into a multiple hit low such as GS2, as that tends to be a really nice maneuver if you're ready to sink 50 meter into a hit that you just absolutely need. We'll be able to press the 5 heavy here, misses the combo. I wonder, that's the second time I think Annatonio drops that 5 heavy combo. Is the combo hard on Slayer or something? Very little life left here on Kaito. We'll be able to block the cross-up, but then from the follow-up situation, Annatonio bounces forward, and this is definitely the time to put everything into the upcoming 20 seconds or maybe 15 seconds. Nice interruption there. Kaito tried to go for a reset. Oh my god, that's not gonna be a kill, is it? No, Kaito doesn't, and also drops it. Didn't have the 50 meter, but also dropped the combo. Now, Annatonio, aggressive dash forward, drops the combo. Perhaps was expecting a burst here, which KaitouDandy has on board now. It would come out, yeah, because Kaito has been bursting pretty fast. Is that gonna, no! The foresight from Kaito knows that that's gonna be the last, literally last situation where Annatonio could have bursted. And he's like, all right, I'll RC here. I mean, there's nothing you can do at this point. Man, that is why that guy, KaitouDandy, is just looking completely unchallengeable at the moment. With a strong character, with a really great affinity for this character, aggressive gameplay, rely on your risk reward, and do everything that you need to do just right. No fear. Go into the heat of things. KaitouDandy 3-0 on Bounty Hunters, I believe. But really great attempt for Annatonio to run it back. And Annatonio has had a lot of really difficult games. There are like a couple of participants who seem to always, when they enter Bounty Hunters, they're at that critical threshold where they are able to challenge the cream of the crop of the community, but they don't necessarily, like, they aren't necessarily at exactly that level where you can get to, like, you can't really win weekly double elimination events, for instance. Really explosive first game, as we expected from the players. Moving onwards for now. Next one is gonna be Froyo and Winters. Winters' first showing on Bounty Hunters. It's gonna be the rare, I'm surprised that I say it, but rare soul. I think we had exactly one soul so far on Bounty Hunters during Season 4. And this would be the second one. Winters representing Spain here. And I think this matchup has been debated, especially, I think especially, is it in the Spanish community? No, it's actually in the Portuguese community, I think, where this matchup has been talked about heatedly over and over again in the past, where I think a lot of people say that this is really good for Sol for various reasons, but you know, since then has gone through all sorts of changes, all sorts of improvements, coming up relatively fresh with the whole combo structure changed, as you now are able to input motion into your chemical lab, for instance, which allows slightly improved types of combos, lets you get a little bit more for your troubles, for instance. Yeah, two completely different kinds of characters here. Sol, the poster boy, go in and hit them in the face. And if you can't hit them in the face, hit them on block as many times as you can until they stop blocking, and then kill them with a couple of hits. Though, is looking for any sort of knockdown to start her mix-up game. And if that's not possible, like, the way you kind of get there is very committal. You either stand at full screen, try to get a note out, which, is very slow and can be tagged by especially characters who have long-range reach, or then you commit into stuff like stroke the big tree, try to catch them low, or you just dash forward like Froyo just did here. A little bit too slow here, or rather the distance doesn't favor the startup of the reversal of super. Yep. Speaking of peddling those normals on block, /, really great button for Mr. Bad Guy. Moves you forward, puts you at plus frame advantage. And if the opponent does not gamble, try to get themselves out of it, you can do it again, and again, and again. Ooh, and now, let's see how much damage we can do from that /, counter hit. Drops the route. I think that was a Vortex. That is a relatively tight link there if you want to go with the classic combo structure. There we go. Now it's nice RPS win there. Even though Froyo didn't get the hit, again, the RPS is like happens a lot with that forward dash of Ino's, which is technically kind of like a improved instant air dash, because you can get a hop by pressing your dash button for just a couple of frames like that. You can hop over a lot of normals. Ooh, lucky strike here into slightly delayed option, which Winters does end up jabbing out of the air. That is very common kind of counterplay against Ino. Ino usually, when they can't get that initial mix-up in, the 50-50 is kind of between landing and frame trapping you with lows and then flowing into a block string that is probably gonna push your opponent away quite a bit. If you don't wanna end your turn like that though, you can try to double it up and forward dash again, which will, of course, have to be countered by your opponent by pressing buttons. Usually like your standing jabs, or you can press like 2Ps if your character's 2P reaches really high as well. What you want is a jab that can anti-air as best as possible against Ino's resets usually. I mean, you could DP as well, but that's very high commit kind of option. Usually you end up trying to, you see players trying to use jabs instead if you want to prevent Ino coming from the skies. All right, one in Winters' favor. Oh, the prompt to go back to the lobby was a color change. Interesting. All right, we're going with the very bright color here. Stroke the big tree actually trades favorably for Froyo here. 6-pick counter hit into a small combo, drop them in the corner, and now it starts the classic pressure. Here we go, here's the challenge, the 2K from range. Of course, the further away Sol is from you, yeah, like that, exactly. The 2S is the challenge button this time. The further away Sol is from you, the safer it is to try to challenge. So you, of course, during Sol's pressure, want to try to FD as much as possible. Look at that dash forward into a close slash. There we go, the close slash catches at the anti-air. That's a really good starter. We're gonna wall stack with that Fafnir. Of course, if that didn't fall, well, look at that damage done. I shouldn't be surprised. This is Sol bad guy after all. And I think with the new combo structure change for Sol, the damage definitely has not gone down at least. Committing into a dive from round start, gets things started. That is definitely one way to get the party started. But again, if the opponent, right from the get-go, when you don't even have the 50 tension anymore, blocks that dive, it can be over really fast, especially if your opponent is Sol. But again, if you do get the hard knockdown, it's really good stuff as one of the finest Ino players. Nice! Get the frame trap with the jump D, and we have the super here as well. Should be the kill if Froyo gets it. Yes, indeed. But yeah, as one of the brightest Ino minds said, just do good mix, it's gonna be okay. So as long as you get into that mixing position, that snowball position, that vortex position, you can make it happen. Just, you know, play it the best you can, try to make it as nasty as possible, rotate your options. There we go, another committal approach from Froyo from half screen away, stroke the big tree, the low approach, which if you want to counter, you have to go for something low. Usually for Sol, it's going to be something like 2S or 2D. I think 2S is generally the more safe button, as that button is quite fast to whiff. And it has still pretty good rewards. You don't necessarily need like a counter hit 2D to do big damage from that position. But Froyo evens it up 1-1. This is how the story begins, with all great matches. Ooh, that's not going to be punishable, but if you want to go forward and press button after that dive, it is, you know, it's going to be a punish from your opponent if they are ready to anti-air. So it's kind of like a value proposition. Am I going to just forfeit my turn, or am I going to try to double up? Who goes for low here, as Winters is trying to jab high with that 5B. DP is the option this time around. Of course, DP is still a very strong option for Ino, as I think a lot of safe jump setups for her. While I think you usually readily have access to your safe jump setups, but they're kind of hard to set up in the sense that like they require manual timings and stuff like that. So of course, if I'm a DP character and I play against Ino, I'm definitely gonna check their setups. Like, can you do that safe jump setup on me successfully, consistently? If not, like if you can only do it 50% of the time, hell yeah, I'm gonna DP. That sounds like a really great risk-reward proposition for me. Ooh, wait, no DP this time. Has the 50 meter to continue pressure with the classic revolver 1-2 RC. Ooh, got the backdash. Froyo knew that close slash would have probably be the end of her. Now sending a note, yeah, I have this one. So there are definitely limitations to that gun flame from Sol as a projectile. If you're not anywhere close to where those flames could reach your opponent, that might buy the opponent enough time to summon their valuable tools, such as the note for Ino. And following that note, especially if it grazes your opponent on block, that basically is a free-way card for you to get in. Who drops the combo? However, we go for a check here. Winters tried to press a button, caught that 2K from Froyo. Yeah, there you can see the fishing for the lows, 2 S's. Winters absolutely know what's up in this matchup. The 5K interruption, no longer 3 frames, but 5 framer, but still a really nice fast button to come out as an anti-air. That's gonna end the pressure here. The new Fafnir minus on block. More like a combo tool slash frame trap. Ooh, got them with the speaking of frame traps, got them with the 5 heavy. Not gonna be enough. Froyo still somehow alive, commits to the dash. Oh, that was great option. Saw Froyo in the air. Basically, if Winters had frame goggles there, they could see that Froyo was revving up that downwards dive from the sky. And thought, all right, if that's gonna happen, then there's nothing you can do to stop it. I'm just gonna DP here. Of course, Froyo did abort the sequence with the use of that PRC, but you know, after that, you kind of don't want to just hold it. Not in that situation when you have only 1 hit point left, so you kind of have to commit to something in order to not just get checkmated. No burst here. I think Winters was initially... Ooh, there we go. Good burst timing here. Nice on Froyo for holding it initially and then waiting for the big cash out from the Wild Assault. The Red Wild Assault. Again, got the backdash with the close slash. Ooh, Froyo! Getting hit again, trying to find some sort of a way in, or rather way out. Immediately goes for the reversal super, and that's gonna break the wall. Wow. Those are the wild options that you tend to see from Sol players. I think there was no 100 meter either, so that was basically go big or go home. I think you're gonna press a button here. Was that on minus frames as well, which would have made a lot of sense. Got them with the jump K. Not the hardest hitting overhead, but we make do what we have. That is 1/4 of the opponent's life, and most importantly, we get the mix afterwards into a throw. And now, just a jump, and safely, FRC mix immediately canceling it. Meter for meter is my corner, trying to go for a throw, but a little too early there. Yeah, Froyo has been, this time, oh, that was actually a punish. Is that a true punish? Ooh, the perfect spacing. Froyo was trying to go for the throw, and the heavy volcanic viper now instantly wall sticks if it ends up landing as a clean hit. Nice counter poke there with the chemical love. Gets Froyo into a low. And we have the 50 meter to cash out as well. If the wall stick happens on a character such as like Ino, you definitely don't want to break the wall and give away your mix-up position. Ooh, again, a little too early. What's Froyo gonna do? Trying to bait something, the backdash. However, Winters had no intention of being passive here. Just pounces forward immediately and catches Froyo out of that backdash. I'm not sure if that was a true punish here, but nevertheless, being able to catch the opponent even blocking, great proposition for you, especially if it was meant to be the opponent's aggressive situation. That was supposed to be a mix-up situation, but Froyo chose to I guess respected the proposition of the, or rather the prospect of the DP. That's a big counter hit again into the 5 heavy. One of the better starters for Mr. Bad Guy. We have the meter, FRC once again into, is it high, is it low? Nevertheless, the pressure is gonna continue. And the wall stuck into Tyrant Barrel. Sorry, not the wrong character, Tyrant Rave, the more classic. Look at that, 1 hit point left on Froyo. This is really tough. Especially if you're hell-bent on keeping your burst resources for the next round. I mean, I think in this situation, Froyo can't afford to spend the burst at all. And again, we were talking about that 2S from Soul versus Stroke the Big Tree. Winters finally hits it big with that slicing grounded 2S with a lot of active frames as well. Really good at catching Stroke the Big Tree coming in. If you manage to time it right. Able to get a node. Winter just effortlessly forward jump, dodges it. RC to make sure that the pressure is continued. We are bullying ourselves in. This is a good... yeah, I really like this. Because Froyo knew that if I manage to land anything on block and get the RC, then it's probably gonna be my game. Until Winters survived with literally 1 hit point. Don't tell me that's gonna be a steal. Froyo almost 100 meter and the burst resources as well. Surely Froyo is gonna take this round right. So many more resources, counter hit, wait for the burst never comes. Froyo still holding on to it. Is this a safe setup? What? Wait, the initial hit misses. I see, because there is a gap between Tyrant Rave first and the second hit. The downwards dive was able to actually interrupt between that. Brilliant move from Froyo. I wonder if that was actually what she was baiting for, but it ends up working out. Here's another dive, we get the hit, and now, good check from Winters. That 5B has been one of the go-to tools for defending against Ino from flop dashing in. But it continues, we're not quite at a range where, or wait, can he get a dash into super there? Cross up, can't pick it up. Ooh, and a pounce from first hit of Bandit Revolver. Converting into wall break as well, but not of the hard kind. And now look at this, Froyo's meter. Froyo needs 1 hit. It doesn't matter what kind of hit it. It could be even on something on block. We can RC this. Ooh, that was a little dangerous. I think. Okay. Ended up PRCing it before the first hit actually goes active. I think the more usual method here is to just make the reversal super first hit activate, then RC, and then there's basically nothing your opponent can do. If they blocked it, then they're in block stun and you can pick up the pressure. If they dodged it, they're probably backdashing or something, so it's still your turn after the PRC. Oh my goodness, it damages so much. And the reversal super. Oh! Option selected with the backdash. Yeah, we got the safe jump setups, but not only the safe jump setups, but we make sure that if Froyo had 100 meter there, I mean, I guess technically if Froyo did have 100 meter there, it wouldn't still work out because you could still RC it on whiff anyway. That's a good trade for Winters. Ooh, but drops the punish. Now Froyo is in a really good position. Frame trap into the jump, did a very classic, the double multi-hitting overhead that Ino can do from her float dashes. Ooh, throwing towards the mid-screen, and that should sink. Yep, there is quite a bit of landing recovery from that, whatchamacallit, Bandit Bringer. Oh, and a wild throw to finish it. Winters maintains the lead 2 games over Froyo's 2. But there is still many different ways that this set could end up manifesting. Because like Froyo, when Froyo gets in, she's been really good at staying in as well and closing out rounds. Like so. Ooh, nice challenge there. It's one of those times when Froyo, or like when Ino players decide to go for the frame trap option, and then we get to the grounded part of the string and you don't really have a lot of good options left anymore. Snipe out of the sky. Good movement by Winters. Look at that, the far slash from almost half screen away. Goes under, but the reversal super He's gonna get the node set up. That's a big counter hit overhead. However, we don't have the 50 meter to keep on. Not even the burst gauge for a Wild Assault. Again, into it, low. That should be a kill with the 50 again, right? No, maybe was worried about the burst that's coming out potentially from Winters. But now, Winters can actually finish here unless we don't get the wall stick. And the big committal option went for that wild throw again. The throw option that cannot be thrown from the opponent's side. However, Froyo picked the right option to counter that. The reversal super, the only super aggressive option that Ino can do to wake up. Nice backdash. Won't be able to be caught by Froyo's, whatever Froyo was option selecting with there. But this wall stick will indeed go into the hard knockdown. Very close, maximum damage, and you are down on the floor. Winters doesn't even have the 50 meter anymore. However, what was that? Just extremely aggressive poking once again out of the sky. Winters missed the ender here, so Froyo will have a little bit of distance, but look at that. Just a moment's notice, blink of an eye, and the Bandit Revolver first hit gets there. And that's gonna be a kill, right? Extremely important round here. Both players very high on burst resources. First hit is gonna be explosive. One hit into more pressure. Ending your combo string with Stroke the Big Tree. Not like the most valuable proposition, I guess, but like you work with what you have. Well, Slash is countered by the reversal super again. Froyo has found a really nice amount of value for that reversal super. Sometimes you kind of have to, because like you're that character who doesn't have a meterless DP or anything like that. So you gotta be able to say sometimes like, stop it, just stop it. Let me go. Respect my wake up. But you can only do it so many times. It is, after all, hidden behind that very, very precious 50 meter, right? And Ino needs that meter, absolutely needs that meter. There's just so many good things that Ino can do. To keep up the snowball at wall using the super, or RC to keep the pressure going so that you can mix. Speaking of the pressure, it's gonna start here. Nice, that was a very delayed land into 2K, which catches Winters' backdash. DP works out here. And then lands. Ooh, Winters was waiting for that burst, but again, Froyo in the manner that she's been playing so far, not panic bursting, just waiting for a little bit of time before unleashing it. So if your opponent likes to bait those immediate bursts, their bait attempts will, ring to empty ears, basically. Alright, from 2S into the Bandit. Nice jump out of the throw. However, drops the combo. YRC counters the Red Wild Assault here. Alright, we're using meter for meter, or rather resource for resource. However, the resource that Winter used there, a little bit more useful as it's, of course we know the burst resource moves between rounds, or can be transferred between rounds. So, if you end up investing into your burst option and lose the round, that's generally considered like not the best proposition for you. How are we getting out of this corner though? Here comes the Tyrant Rave. The damage is massive. That doesn't kill, right? Oh my god, of course it kills. Of course it does. But now, because of that investment that Winters made earlier, Froyo still an advantage on the burst resources. Ooh, decent use of Deflect Shield, able to dodge the first initial mix-up. After all, Deflect Shield does protect you high and low, so and left or right as well. So it's kind of good against a lot of Ino's mix-ups. Look at that brave dash into 6P. Basically dashes into point blank range. Neutral jump heavy into, spend Red Wild Assault, get the corner. And the wall stick, is this gonna break? No, not quite. This certainly does not go. Wait, I thought that was Stroke the Big Tree, but Froyo actually didn't press anything. Nevertheless, Winter still gets a big counter hit. No resources though, other than the Wild Assault. That's not gonna be a kill. That is gonna be the kill. OTG 6 heavy, the classic absolute sledgehammer. No prorated damage at all. You slam that on top of a downed opponent, and it does almost maximum damage on OTG hits.
I knew that they cannot change society. So instead of reflecting,
damn, Winters making the distance between the players grow, and now we're here 2-6. One of the difficult positions that you can be in FT7 games. How are we gonna recover from this? Positive Bones has been acquired through the use of Gold Burst. Going through all the colors before getting it. Oh, nice! We got the loops! The first successful loops of the set. Those are the relatively difficult combos. The new combo structure of Soul Bad Guy. That Winter is finally putting on the table. Baiting the YRC as well. That's gonna be a kill unless Froyo goes for the burst. Goes for it. That's a... Ooh, that's a tough burst to make. You do have a lot of tension to play, but you basically say, alright, if I get hit once, I'm gonna die here. What? Get the throw from that range against 5D? Alright. That is definitely the kind of help that Froyo needs here. Backdashing out of the far slash attempt, trying to whip punish the stroke the big tree. We got the hit! And we're slowly building towards the 50 meter here. 5 feet once again, the party breaker. Deflect shield will push Winters towards the corner, and the super is gonna come out. Should be enough, right? No, not quite. The damage is very prorated, and not even the wall break damage is gonna be able to take it. Waiting for the YRC once again. I bet that 2B being able to recover fast enough against YRC. Again, Winters had their mind on the money, trying to draw out the most likely defensive resource for Froyo, but Froyo does not yield. Froyo does not go immediately into the most obvious defensive resource. Rather defensive option. However, look at this, that damage is gonna skyrocket. Pain, absolute pain. Not quite the kill, but next hit could be it. Froyo is so close to the full blue burst. Has 50 meter as well, has to go for it. But Winter knows! He knows there was no other way to save yourself but the burst. Exactly the same kind of conundrum we had with Annatonio versus Kaito earlier. It is written in the stars. If you know how these last frames, these last seconds are gonna unfold, it's no surprise to you. Your opponent is so low, they have to try. They absolutely have to try. Because like, even if you go for the RC, I think Winters had like 100 meter there or something like that. So there was way more to come even after that. There's just no right options to pick in that situation. It's kind of like, you gotta have to try to avoid that situation. Like try to not like it sounds really obvious. Try to not go 0 hit points and take a hit and your opponent has like 50 to 100 meter to spend, because you kind of run out of options at that point. Like no matter what you do, even if you do have a burst available. Going very back-to-back early, but then around like the 5th, 6th game mark, seems like Winters able to get enough data to formulate a game plan or a switch or a change to the game plan that was just not, that Froyo was not quite able to counter this time around. And taking win on their initial debut match here on Bounty Hunters. Welcome, welcome. All right, here it comes. The biased match of the week. Extremely biased opinion. Perhaps the most hype match to come. But perhaps that is only because I'm so fond of, kind of both of these players. Hoplan, of course, the pride and joy of the Finnish fighting game community that has made such a fast transition from, zero to a hero. He's gonna be fighting against one of the big guns of Turkey here, Aatreus Anji. Has been playing Anji as long as I can remember. Let me make sure I'm pinging the right player here. Alright, we've seen this match so many times over, and I'm gonna say it again. even though on the flip side, on the initial surface, even back on vanilla, when Anji just wasn't really that developed of a character yet, balance-wise, I want to say. Even during those times, this matchup just has never been that bad for Anji. Even if Anji has been considered like one of the lowest tier characters for a very long time, and of course Nagoriyuki always regarded a very strong competitor. Because of the mechanics of how Anji works, Anji will never ever be at a true disadvantage at long range because you can always dance. You always have that Suigetsu no Hakobi option. Spinning against far-reaching normals will allow you to put yourself in a situation where, like, you usually get at least some sort of a punish. If it's not like your biggest close slash damage, then at least you're gonna get the fish, you can knock the opponent down, and, you know, you always have the RPS available, even if you're being zoned out, sort of. And that kind of makes this character unzonable in a way. The same way where, like, Slayer, you can't never, like, outzone a Slayer, right? Because on a moment's notice, they can pounce forward and do something you can't react to and potentially go into plus frames. The same way, the dance might be coming out, and if you don't punish it, guess what? Anji just got a little bit closer to you and is ready to now unleash pressure. Alright. Nagoriyuki, of course, very interesting character after. Ooh, we're mashing with a DP here. Alright. That prompts an immediate burst from Aatreus. And now, I'm surprised the close slash from Hoplan actually ended up missing there. Is one of the higher reaching close slashes in the game. Reset it into Butterfly. Nice throw break. And switch sides as well. Next hit will lead into super. Misses the close slash initially there, or was that maybe on a backdash? FRC, drift forward, PRC, press buttons. The pressure is never over. At least unless Anji runs out of meter. Forward Fukyo into Beyblade. Catching that backwards moving momentum. Again, a really nice backdash from Aatreus there, and getting a big close slash afterwards as well. Deflect shield will get Hoplan. Small far slash punish, putting Aatreus in the corner. Unfortunately, we don't have the 50 meter here to cash out, but this is still a relatively okay situation. Nice anti-air reaction. Oh, there it is. If you're not ready to counter Suigetsu no Hakobi, it could be that it goes unpunished. You don't get to do anything. Oh, into plus frames. And now what's the mix-up? The air backdash will get, or rather will work as a makeshift shimmy here against the reversal throw of Hoplan's. Interesting. I think usually that air backdash should, like, you usually play that with a button that can reach you, so that it's like sort of a shimmy option that, and you could get like a big counter hit out of that. But I mean, we're fine taking the follow up that we were able to get there. All right, through the wall. All right, knock down. Both players still have all of their burst resources left. I wonder though, would Hoplan spend them here? Because this is at the tail end of your life bar. We are gonna spend it. We, after all, have, look at that! Into biting the Suigetsu no Hakobi. That is definitely one option that you can cash out big time. And now with all of that blood, we have so much more blood. More blood! Even more! We're sucking it dry. Now soft knockdown. Yeah, tried to swing with the far slash, and even though that is a kind of nice-ish far slash, never gonna win against Nagoriyuki's reversal, or sorry, round start DP, especially at that range. Alright, switching sides, waiting for the burst, very, very patiently. However, Aatreus basically committed to just going for the OTG burst instead, which is really, really hard to bait. And even if you do it, like, it never gets you much anything, right? Nice side switch. Oh, I love that combo route. It's gonna do so much damage as well because Hoplan has so much blood on the bar, dropping the defensive value. Alright, the blood is coming back little by little from these heavy strikes, these sword swings, until the close slash pressure. It's a little bit rare to get to run that close slash pressure because like Anji not necessarily known as the best like close slash peddler, if you will. More known for going into the Fujin and its follow-ups in order to mix people up. Big hit, yep, Hoplan knows. Maybe that was the best. Ooh, a little late on the throw! Aatreus is already backdashing out of there. Resetting again into that butterfly. Good mix-up. We have 100. Can we... Is this gonna kill? Hoplan is only at... Yeah, oh, I see. Yeah, we're going into this one. Super FRC. Get a couple of hits there. Every one of those is gonna deal at least a little bit of damage.
Duel 1.
And just shave off all of that last hit points that we have there. Now 6p counter hit comfortably converging into the DP here. Maximum damage combo, which will prompt Aatreus to lose. Oh, the reset there. Aatreus tried to press something, got counter hit there on the close slash, and that's gonna be a kill. One big starter into another close slash counter hit starter. Yeah, that's a recipe for basically a Naga round. Right, good dance here. Got the close slash, got it again. This time going for the fish. If you're not sure if you could get the close slash, the safer option is always to go for a Midara instead. Go for the fish and just get the plus frames and or the guaranteed hard knockdown. Which can always be followed up with, for example, the butterfly Oki. Catching off the wall, super. This will help with the blood pressure. Aatreus, though, all of the resources are available here. Let's see how adventurous Hoplan is gonna feel here. We engage into... That is really level 2 adventurous! Waiting for the burst. It never comes. Aatreus instead goes for the reversal parry. This is not the best Oki situation. But chasing with those Kara Nagihas into another Nagiha. Surely, like, even though we say you can't get a clean Oki from there, you can do that Kara Nagiha that reaches really, really far away and ended up actually catching Hoplan's backdash attempt from the really far away situation. I mean, if you block it, you're pretty good, but nobody wants to block after that, especially you, since you know it's not the best situation for your opponent. So much meter here, Hoplan. This time the backdash catches, or rather calls out the command grab, and Aatreus seems to take the better of these guessing situations, which is, I mean, very common, and in fact something that you look at that. The reaction this time, that is the kind of stuff that Hoplan will have to get right more often than not against Anji in this matchup. You gotta be able to pick the strike timings, and if you don't want to strike, then at least get the throw timings right. The problem with Nago is that, you know, many characters will dash at Anji to fix that position. So if you see, or if you think, I mean, I guess you can do Fukyo. Fukyo works, and now all resources available. Hoplan goes for another greedy one. Is that gonna be his undoing? 100 meter super reversal does not come out. I wonder, that looked like 6p start up there maybe? But the setup was safe enough to not get tagged by that. Too far for a DP here. So a small RPS victory. Every time you can force a little bit of blood out of Nago Ryuki without Nago being able to get value for it. Such as like this. That will put Hoplan's blood gauge pretty high, but on the other hand, this is gonna relieve the pressure. Not quite gonna be a kill. Anji, after all, is quite the heavy character as well, or rather, very defensive character in terms of the modifier. But you are basically against level 3 Nago in the corner. That is one of the most scary situations this patch. Even though you no longer can cancel those heavy buttons as Nago Ryuki, boxing the opponent in the corner is super dangerous in slightly different kinds of ways, because now those heavy buttons will take so much life out of your life bar because they are guard crushes. Deflect shield. Buys a little bit of space and time for Hoplan, but immediately back in there. You are always, even on full screen, you are RPSing against the potential approaches. I mean, it goes both ways. Nago Ryuki can approach with the use of like Kukyo clone or just send that Beyblade. But this character Anji also Karanagiha, dance, so many things that you can, you know, you can engage your opponent with. There we go. The Fukyo forward into a bite once again. It's a very kind of natural order of things if you want to try to consistently call out those dance attempts from Anji. Because the strike timing is very, very difficult, if you ask me. So the much easier proposition is to be in range and then throw. Ooh, this time though, waking up with the close slash, big damage. And the backdash, again the backdash! How is the backdash so good? The backdash is just catching Hoplan every single time. The option select is not there. Maybe Anji's backdash is perfect frame data to get stuff in between there. The pressure never ends before the tension is spent. Good cash out, overhead again, and again. Third one. This time we go for just a basic block string. Into Shin, plus frames. One more hit, Shin. This time it's Hoplan who gets a really nice backdash. And side switching, we're gonna go into a pop. Is it a safe pop though? Too far! But Hoplan's still alive somehow. Misses a 2K, and that will be whiff punished by Aatreus. Alright, let's see if we get a word to the players so that we don't miss any games here. Damn, Aatreus with a lot of momentum. Like we said, it's not an easy matchup, definitely. Like, we are, like, a lot of us are often in a mindset where it's like, Nago's just so good, Nago can force things, Nago gets to say the first word. But in this matchup, when the opponent has counter tools, namely the spin, the whole setup is just completely flipped on its head. You suddenly no longer necessarily have the first word. You can try to get the first word, but the opponent is like kind of on equal grounds to you. You're both RPSing all the time. There is no safe way to burn blood and just get in, which kind of like, I mean, the blood burn is never, of course, 100% guaranteed or safe, but in many other matchups, like, many characters just don't have like super good counter tools that align risk-reward wise, especially when Nago has very low amount of blood still. Many characters, especially like low damage ones, usually try to approach the matchup by trying to bait blood out of Nagoriyuki, and when the blood is high, that means the specials can't come out anymore. But Anji doesn't necessarily have to take that path, and usually just does not take that path at all. Because you can RPS right from the get-go, and if Nago strikes Beyblades into your spin, close slash starter, they have to burst. If they don't, you are Anji. You have absolutely crazy corner carry, crazy damage, crazy consistent everything, and you're on your way to victory. That is a very strange, kind of queer kind of phenomena, I think, for Nagoriyuki players to experience, because it's so very different to what you're usually expecting. Alright, so I think the players did notice that we had a disconnection. So we're gonna pick up from where we left, which is 5 points on Aatreus, and so far 0 on Hoplan, surprisingly. Let's see if our Finnish hero, our Alepa superstar, can somehow figure out ways to counter this situation. What is the counter though? It's unfortunately, it's kind of like, it's really hard to explain. It's kind of like trying to explain how to play neutral, because it's very multifaceted, multi-layered, very, like, how do you explain what, like, where to stand at neutral to somebody? How do you explain what is the timing that you have to strike with? It's all like, there's just so many different variables. You just kind of have to know. That's going to be a punish though. So Hoplan starting out, being able to draw out the burst from Aatreus this time. Into close slash pressure. Nice, the classic backwards Fukyo into... Ooh, never mind! We had a little bit of an oopsie there. Or perhaps that was just a reset on the blood. Now all blood resources are available and more coming back from behind. That's actually gonna... Is that gonna kill? Very close. Nago Super does deliver quite a lot of punishment when the harder hitting supers, only rivaled by... I guess not Calvados anymore, because that's kind of a nerfed super. But if I had to like name what supers hit harder than that, I would only be able to name Sin Kisk, because those supers are absolutely bonkers. Speaking of supers though, this super not hitting very hard unless you spent like 100 meter into it and get that funky little wall stick, rapid fire wall stick super conversion that we've seen from a lot of top player Anji players when the opponent is like at their last hit points. Ooh, no cancel. That is the threat. The threat of basically like the potential of the follow-ups. Now Hoplan strikes with that strange far slash of Nagoriyuki's, which is not really a far slash, more like a 5 heavy minus if you ask me, but really great at catching people trying to backdash. Not being able to catch that backdash from Anji this time though. And now the pressure, we're going into another one. Cashing out on Hoplan, respecting a little too much. And again, this time Hoplan does not respect though. We're gonna unload. However, the hop is fast enough. Is that true? The command hop forward is too fast to recover. Oh, I forgot to put it on a rematch, which we can fix here. Aatreus though, goddamn. Feels like they just know the matchup perfectly. I mean, it kind of makes sense because this is the gameplay that all Anji players are basically accustomed to playing. This is the game plan that you have to run. You don't have a choice. You don't have it like a tiger does not have a choice to not be a tiger. Anji does not have an option to not spin. That's just like, that's not how the character works. You fucking spin or you die. So this is the kind of, you know, gameplay that Anji players are used to putting out every single match, basically. But on the other hand, this is a completely different kind of gameplay that you usually play on Nago. Big close slash, sorry, DP counter hit. We're gonna pop here, right? Successfully. Pick it up, don't have 50 meter. Okay, I see. So opting up to actually not stick the opponent to the wall, because that would have caused you to go back to neutral here. Actually like that option from Hoplan. Backdash works out, but then where does the pressure, or rather the escape, come from? Eventually, when we get to that 5k range, that R slash range, we get so many more options to press buttons. The DP whiffs, however, we are safe. Oh, again, the DP a little too far away. And now Aatreus potentially on a crash course. There we go, Fukyo forward. The makeshift dash into a throw. Hoplan will have to persevere this mix-up. The YRC rings into the spin, which allows Aatreus to cash out with plus frames and then some. Set point Aatreus. Hoplan has to persevere here to put himself on the board. Full burst gauge. Look at that far slash once again, catching the backdash. I think that's like the best backdash catcher in the game, isn't it? Like one of the buttons. Like if you ever wanted to catch a backdash, Nagoriyuki far slash. Looking good for Hoplan. Frame trap into big cash out. Not quite dead yet. Never mind, that is a dead Anji. He's on board. This is where it starts, potentially. The legend of Hoplan. Can he make one of the sickest comebacks ever? It's been all downhill so far. Could he? Perhaps. Is he the one? I mean, we know he is the one, but even the one, even Anakin Skywalker, totally fucked up. We know that, like, sometimes there is just no way out, but one thing is for certain, Hoplan is not gonna give up so easily. Overhead does not give you a combo anymore. Close slash does craze the reversal super here, and once again, this time opting to just put out the butterfly. I guess if you don't want to go for the dash Kara Nagiha, then you would probably do something like that to be as safe as possible. Nice, that was a fast cash out. combos on the modern Nagaryuki are gonna kind of look like that. They're very short, concise, and do a lot of damage. Like Samurai Shodown. I think that's the most overused kind of comparison between this character and that game. Gold Burst. Push. Oh, the close slash on the cross up. And we have so many resources. Just into Iseogi. No RC this time, for it would not kill. Save that remaining 50 meter to the next round, or rather the next screen. I think, was that a spin? No, that was a 6B. So that's gonna be a slash through. We have an RC option here. Hoplan goes for it. Does he hit it? He hits it. The OTG 6 heavy, delivering maximum damage. 2 in a row. Hoplan is powering up. The dark side is calling. But I think Hoplan is a really good example of a player who can kind of juggle between the dark side and the light side as necessary. Although maybe leaning a little bit more on the side of the dark, as you know, the calling is just too tempting. Like, when you have so much power on your fingertips, why should I not use it? Such as the throw here. If I have the longest reaching throw in the game, why should I not reversal throw? But unfortunately, missing the media attempt afterwards, and I think Aatreus ended up basically doing the same to Hoplan. Plus French Shin once again. If you want to counter that, you would kind of have to jump with Anji, align yourself, and try to air into a big counter hit. Yeah, striking is not an option, unfortunately. So Aatreus is gonna cash out. Not a kill. Aatreus set point 0 hit points on our Finnish hero. The differential works out. The DP does not. All the resources are gone. Hoplan commits to it. Gets the pop. Are we dropping? Oh no, we missed the OTG 6 heavy. I'm not sure if that was... Would that hit? Is that fast enough to actually combo? I'm not sure what the plan was here, but the fact of the matter is the 6 heavy on whiff, completely open, completely punishable, and Aatreus will not give any mercy here. We're gonna end this set right here. But a really great show of heart and the Finnish Sisu there, putting everything into that last block string, just trying to make sure that Aatreus doesn't get to play. And if it doesn't work out, then at least we gave our everything. At least we put all of the resources into that. That would have been a really nice reset there on the blood as well, if it ended up working out. All right, moving on to the next one. Zash and Nex. 2 very new players. Of course, Zash, this is gonna be their debut match, and Nex had their debut match last week. The ninja, Chip Zanev, and that character that has been very, very underplayed for a long time. Although, speaking of like high-level competitive appearances, we did see Sechi doing really great today on Kayane Cup. Made it to top 8, and made it relatively far as well on the character that nobody just seems to believe on, or trust. What's a good way to say? Nobody puts any money on nowadays. Like when you see Zato, would you say, yeah, that character's my GOAT. That's gonna be the one I'm betting everything on? No, of course not. You don't say that nowadays. Yet fact of the matter is, like, there are players who can still make it work at high levels, such as Sechi. And now let's see what Zash has in store for this character. Very, very technical character, very hard to command character. The thing is, at this skill level, so this would probably be the sort of rookie matchup of the evening. The problem playing very technical characters like Zato at this skill level comes with a lot of problems, because like the pressure, like the combos have to work out perfectly so that you can flow into the best possible situation afterwards, and like you're controlling two different characters at the same time. You have to worry about so many things at the same time. If you get touched, your puppet is gonna be gone. There's just so many things to consider that are way more than just, you know, looking at my character. What is my character doing? Where is my character moving? If I get a hit, what am I gonna hit confirm into? Which is kind of like what Chip plays here. You're just one fast-moving entity. When you get into your combo, it's pretty straightforward what you're gonna combo into, although maybe that's actually not true anymore on Season 4, because Chip has that new move, Tightrope, that has completely sort of shuffled the stuff that Chip can do, especially on good hits. That's gonna actually be interesting if Nex can utilize that Tightrope. I forgot how much Tightrope we got last week, but I mean, we don't have to speculate about it too much, because we're just gonna jump straight into the match. And with the pressure, nice, had the exact counterplay. So the third Rekka, especially when followed up from, I think from both Rekka 1 and Rekka 2, can be interrupted with a 6P. You gotta have to mash it though. It is definitely not something you can do on reaction. It has to come out first frame. The small cross up here. Into the overhead. The overhead Rekka hits this time. Putting the opponent in the corner, spending the defensive resources on YRC, summoning into really good defense here. The overhead finally comes in, but Nex has the burst ready to go, and now 0 puppet gates in the corner. You're absolutely at the mercy of the ninja. We have the RC available, and another one as well. This is hopeless situation. Unless you can somehow get that 6P mash again against the overhead Rekka, there's just so few things that you can do. Chip is gonna flow into Rekka 1, Rekka 2, Rekka 3, RC, then a couple of normals and do it again. And you're gonna, like, if you're not gonna stand up and block that overhead, and even if you do, it's like, it's such a hopeful situation, or hopeless situation. With the last minute burst here, the oppose actually drawing the hit from the downwards Alpha Blade. But unfortunately, here is the problem where the combo structure, the hit confirms will come in. Had a really great play there here from Zash, taking out the summoning into oppose, basically guarding the Alpha Blade with the use of your puppet, but then you have to follow that up. You have to get the successful combo, hard knock down your opponent, and there we go again! The oppose, immediate burst from Nexi. Putting Zash in the corner. Ooh, but the back throw incident. If it works out, we're definitely gonna fish with those. Decent amount of puppet gauge left here. Deems that it's time to just unsummon. I kinda like it. Like, if you overcommit and commit to like strings that will completely drain your puppet gauge, you better have some sort of stable plan B, whether it is like burning tension or being able to take flight or some sort of way of wasting time so that you can get back to your puppet gauge again. Ooh, successful combo here. There we go. These are the kind of stuff that we have to see from Zash. Hit confirm into sandwich, maximum damage combo, and then go from there. And if you build up 50 meter, then you have Sun Void available and you can bring your puppet back, even if you don't have the puppet gauge ready to be unleashed. Good block on the overhead, but it's not over. We're usually gonna RC it. Big counter hit from Tightrope hit, however, misses the combo. Now it's Zash's time to make the payback. Overhead into unsummon. I like that. And because they did the unsummon, that was able to bring back a lot of the eddy gauge and then go into the bigger damage ender, which is what's that called? Amorphous? Legacy super names. I think that's Amorphous. 1-1. Zash evens it up. The first game looked a little shaky, but now Zash definitely waking up, finding their footing, working in tandem with the puppet. To the other side. Ooh, yeah, base to 6 speed goes into the wrong direction. However, as long as the puppet gauge is ready to be unleashed, Zato is still in a pretty good place. Immediate burst against the summon. However, here's the thing. If you burst immediately when Zato takes out the puppet, nowadays the puppet gauge is not going to be consumed. It will basically stay where it was and then start regenerating from that point on. So you kind of want to do the same thing that you do against Aba or Nagoryuki, where you kind of delay your burst and your defensive mechanics to put the opponent closer to quotations popping, which in Zato's case would be, I guess you want to make him use as much of the puppet gauge as possible before you do your combo breaker, right? So that you can then guarantee at least a couple of seconds of no puppet being available. And if this is your first time seeing this character, Zato, basically a character that we call in the industry a puppet character, controls two different entities, usually tries to get some sort of hit in, then summons the little guy, and then tries to sandwich you. It's basically when the puppet does not exist, you are weaker than a single character. You're kind of like a half character. But then when you can work in tandem with your puppet, you're basically two characters at the same time. Again, a really good unsummon here. Whenever you unsummon, that brings your puppet gauge back really, really fast. So a really important facet of your game plan. YRC, we're still around, what, 4 seconds away from the puppet being active. However, that ends up not mattering. We have the meter to go for YRC plus 10 and then just check the opponent. Opponent pressing buttons, no problem. That's a guard crush. And during a guard crush, you can't you can't auto guard. You have to be blocking. You have to be pressing backwards or down back in order to block. Good 6B. Getting into the pierce pressure. Overhead hits. Immediate burst from Nex and a big counter hit 6. Yeah, I understand. Zash probably saved themselves from a lot of that damage. But also double meaning here for the burst, putting Nex in the corner as well. A very common type of burst that we see in Guilty Gear Strive. Ooh, ended up missing the meaty here, and now taking this pressure. Very nice blocks so far. Low slash starter, quick 1, 2, 3. Zash once again. Trying to buy some time with that YRC so that puppet gauge comes back and we can summon again. Sending the clone initially. And now Zash hoping to get some sort of power. There it is! Counters the clone! That's something we don't see very often. So the clone from Chip, if it's not challenged, it ends up giving him a lot of plus frames. However, the clone that you send can be hit. And if it's hit, it basically deals the same hit on the main entity. So the counterplay is to mash. Press your fastest button and make Chip flinch out of it. YRC is close enough this time. Into instant air dash, jump heavy, immediate burst. Tries to put Nex in the corner. There we go, summon straight into a pose. One of the best options if you think your opponent will just come running in. Unga bunga, pressing buttons. All of those buttons are going to be drained by the big brick wall that is the opposed summon. Good 6B, drop them on the ground. Kind of shuffling forward, back and forth, maybe waiting for the DP. But I think Nex hasn't even unleashed one DP so far. No reversals whatsoever in this set. 5 heavy big counter hit starter. Are we getting the wall? No, not quite dropping the combo, but we're still up for a second wave. 2/3 of the opponent life gone. Instant air dash gets us in, and any hit here should be good unless the hit confirmed. Still eluding Nex for now, but any hit should be good if you get a clean RC. And the cool thing about characters like Chip, even if you can't stay on top of the speed of the match, which is very common in fast fighting games like this, it's fine. Even if you drop your combo, at least keep up the pressure, which means like you're usually gonna get some sort of a soft knockdown anyway. Just dash in there, press more buttons, don't let them run away. At this skill level, definitely enough. Again, Zash opting for the aggressive burst. Nex still has his own left to use. Ooh, the throw was a little early. But not getting punished too bad here, Zash. Still probably okay with this conundrum. Plus 10 again here from YRC. There we go, a pose, and you're running straight into it. Luckily for Nex, they had the big burst here and was not only able to negate that biggest combo that Zato can unleash on you, but take the corner as well. Nice, sees the 6P, goes for a low instead. Especially since we're such a fast character such as Chip, the 2K will definitely find its mark. Whoa, look at the timing! The 5P actually caught the crossing up Alpha Blade. Is that even real? Is this real life? I've never managed to do that myself. It's kind of sick. Puppet is ready to be unleashed, but trying to look for an opening. Of course, the problem, the conundrum is this. You could take out the Puppet full screen, but that will drain a lot of your gauge before you have any sort of chance even getting to the opponent. So usually the optimal scenario would be that you make the opponent block some normals, or you knock them down, and then you take out the Puppet if possible. But this time, Zash, unluckily drops the combo here, drops straight into the back throw of Zash's, and here we go, summon. Burst is available. However, smart moves here from Nex, being patient and not spending that burst when it's basically an impossible endeavor to make here with that life disadvantage that we had. Rather, go into the next round, you're already sitting on a round lead, and just play it again from full health. Now, do we even need the burst? Maybe. DP here first of the set, I think. With the cross-up, Zash blocks into the right direction, but not this time. The Alpha Blade, very small hit, but the cross-up is really hard to compensate. The cross-up is really hard to block. You basically have to almost... I wonder, is it even reactable? It's kind of like you kind of have to know it's coming, and then maybe you can react to it. Sorry, doing a little bit of TOing here. Alright, back to the game. What's it look like here? So Zash pushed into the corner, does get the summon, but the YRC does flip the situation on its head. One more hit. Chip is usually really good at finishing the opponent at this kind of points. With that drive-by instant air dash jump heavy from the left side. And even if you block that, that's probably going to be plus for Chip. Good 6B. Trying to push Chip towards the corner. Working in tandem with the body. However, good defense from Nex, and now it's up to Zash to delay the 8 seconds, I think, that it takes for Little Eddie Gage to come back. We do have the Gage here. Cross up. Goes unblocked. Far slash gets a straight hit. Immediate summon. And then unsummon. I like how this blows. When you notice that you can't complete the combo anymore, just unsummon and go back to neutral. At least you have all of your puppet resources ready to go in the next interaction. Oppose. There we go! And Nex is so close to the burst but won't be able to get to it. And again, that oppose, if the opponent collides with it and you get, like, I think the 2 heavy counter hit is the most classic starter that you can get for Zato in that situation. That's probably the best combo that you could ever get. Overhead RC, the classic. You get the full conversion. No, a reset of swords. That was really tricky. Looked like Nex dropped that combo, but can't be sure what the frame advantage was in that situation. Into the Piers. Unsummon. Yeah, that was at the last moment. However, it was kind of like at that point, when you're Chip, you're like, all right, if he unsummons here, he's probably not gonna be able to summon back immediately. So what do? Just aggressive dash forward and press buttons. At least that time, there is no threat of colliding with the oppose. Like this! Right, even though that was a slightly, like, misfire there, very awkward angle, still, like, 1/3 of Chip's hit points. These tightrope combos are really difficult. Good block on the overhead, but it's not over yet. 1, 2, 3. We get the command craft as well. Looking for one more. Finds the 5K, and that's gonna be enough. Really comfortable hit confirm as well. That's basically Chip's home base whenever you get to that 5K range, which you can, on Chip, you can kind of Gatling into itself, and it's gonna be like really comfortable hit confirm, especially in the corner when you can unleash a Kara cancel. So basically any hit is just gonna lead into Kara cancel, super, break the wall, go from there. Lots of resources available. The clone gets a stray hit, puts... Ooh, but Zash able to break out of there, opposes back. Luckily this time Nex was able to pick up a trajectory that kinda did not collide with the summon or the oppose at all. Opposes out again. Yeah, look at that, the double jump going actually behind the oppose, at which point I guess it's not as threatening anymore. Because like you can't hold the oppose forever either. Again, the double jump, look at that! And once again, the oppose is dispelled, and that's when Nex strikes. Comes down with the jump 2K, drills for great justice. Or wait, perhaps that's because the hitbox is not there anymore, and you actually managed to hit the main body, which is Zator, right? So that would instantly dispel the oppose, even if you were holding it. Yeah, once again, the trajectory is perfect. Instant air dash over the summon. Not a true punish here on the DP. Touches the oppose. And now the pressure overhead. We could potentially... Oh, chooses to cash out here. Right, the damage is going to be big, but this will not lead into a hard knockdown. So Zash has some options of playing here. Although playing neutral against Chip Zanef is probably not the best propositions for you. The DP able to graze both the puppet and the main body here. Perfect kind of situation for Nex. Ooh, we're in the corner side now. However, Chip is still really good at... Oh, 6P. What direction? It kind of looked like Nex had already passed to the other side. However, if I've learned anything from my Lord and Savior Ishiwatari Daisuke, is that you can, if you have the will, you definitely can 6P behind your back in this game. All it requires is them to shove their hurt box into you. You are upper body invulnerable after all. I just abiding their time, putting out tightrope, could be a bait. But I mean, if you get the hit after that, you have the tightrope nice and ready to be utilized. We get the summon. Ooh, what a nice hit there. Didn't even have to resort to either the command grab or the overhead. Because with that low amount of life, the opponent is definitely distressed and wanting to get out as soon as possible, since the chip damage is a potential thing. A good proc there on the overhead. Didn't get the biggest of punishes there, Zash. Oh, this is another great... Wait, was there an unsummon before that? There we go, counter hit, close slash. Nex is slowly running out of resources, 50 meter ready to go. But how are we gonna use that? YRC is an option. YRC is actually a really strong option, because if you manage to hit the main body, that also dispels the puppet. Ooh, the shimmy there from the backdash. Decent hit. Following up with leaf grab once again. And not this time. And now we get the summon. This is actually big. We have so much AD gate to spend, and even the super don't even need it. Zash is looking like they are about to run it back, perhaps. 5-3. This is actually an acceptable conundrum in FT7 kind of format. Opponent is at 5. You still have a little bit of a buffer to make mistakes. Still. Right, not the cleanest hits from those 5Ks, and missing the meaty timing, resorting to the DP. I think that was DP number 3 or 4. Very reserved on that that defensive tool. Overhead RC. Ooh, drops the combo. That's a big loss on resources. And the position as well. Loses basically everything. Only blue burst back. Would he blue burst? Immediately does that. And get in the thick of it. Backdash is the far slash. I bet Nex would have wanted to have a close slash, but sometimes it's like when you don't dash deep enough, that far slash turns into that close slash turns into a far slash, and then you're kind of sad because close slashes are supercharged, the perfect alpha buttons. And if that turns into a far slash, it's just not gonna have the active frames or the frame data. Nice jump out. Oh my god, gets crossed out twice. Running back and forth, but exactly what you would expect from the ninja. Collides with the summon of Oppose. Still having the gauge ready to go. Sunvoid is an option, but perhaps not really like that anymore in the current patch. I think where you could kind of feasibly summon into or you could spend Sunvoid from just about any normal hit. I think that's not the case anymore. You would have to set up your stuff in a very particular way to be able to get the sort of quotation guaranteed summon from the Executor or the Sunvoid. Ooh, the blue RC does slow the opponent's frames a little. Switches sides, DP comes out again. Spend it when it's absolutely necessary. The backdashes colliding with the 5K, not being able to get the most clean combo. Overhead RC, you bet your ass it's coming. The Old Faithful, not quite gonna be the kill. Zash is ready to summon, but no blue burst. If they take any sort of, oh, nice hit on the clone. However, it was a little too far to make anything out of that. And that's so hard to adjust to as well. Would you, like, when Zash started that flight and was about to press the, is that jump heavy? Or jump slash? Like, jump slash? I forgot the air buttons. Anyway, when you commit to that move, would you think that it's gonna collide with the clone of Chips? Now, biggest combo here. This is exactly what we're always looking when we summon into a pose. 2 combos. Yep. The most hard-hitting combos ever available, and Zash perfectly executes it and takes the round just like that. I think this is the beauty of Guilty Gear Strive compared to older installments of the game. Even if you are at like a preliminary level, like a even intermediate level old Guilty Gear looks completely different. But you can have really cool looking matches and really relevant matches even at lower skill levels because the game is just not dread to pilot all the time. Stuff is like much easier to perform and it creates like it's relevant. It's like it feels good. Again, the Oppose is out. And Zash, Nex won't be able to maneuver behind Zato perfectly this time around. I think it's like very precise spacing and timing kind of a game if you're trying to go over a pose and then strike from behind. Wait, I get a word that it's actually 5-3 for Nex, so we make a mistake with the score. Ooh, again, the dash 5K. That's a really hard hit confirmed to make. Ooh, nice! Drilling the clone. Pretty even on life resources. However, in games like these, usually the life makes very little difference. It's the meter, it's the burst, and especially for unique characters like Zato, the auxiliary resources, such as the puppet gauge, that is gonna make more of a difference. That's a big hit. I think even if Nex was like at around half hit points, that combo would have surely killed. It's such an interesting gamble, like when you summon into a pose, you say the opponent must come in or I'm gonna lose the RPS. And you are actually losing a lot. If you summon into nothing, which oppose basically is if your opponent just hangs back, it's like that's a lot of puppet gauge lost. That's a move that you could have done and engaged pressure on them. Ooh, the drive-by jump heavy. However, the meaty timings are plaguing kind of both players here. Into a tightrope combo, drops it. Zash still has resources. First, we go into the YRC, and perhaps even the blue burst looming on the background. Do we even need it? Super? Ooh! Already queued up the drill. Any hit from either player is gonna be okay. YRC, my turn. Wait into a button. Oh my goodness. Would the burst come out? No burst. Plays it very safe. I kind of like this. Again, the same conundrum that we've been in so many times. Zash knows they are 1 round up, so why not just go into the next round and... Ooh, wait a second, the timing there! Dispelled the opposed by summoning it, or rather commanding the Eddie do something different, and that's when next stroke. Back throw once again. That seems to be like one of the one of the calling guards, one of the go-to best options that Zash has gotten value out of in defense here. I mean, the meaty timings can be very tricky. Again, falls straight into the back throw, and now you're in deep trouble. Find the overhead, and that's gonna be a kill. Zash, like a shark, on the chase, smells blood in the water potentially. I wouldn't be surprised if I've just completely miscounted the score, because like in my head I didn't have like the best, like, whatchamacallit, kind of like I think it's still not over yet, right? It's just a breather for either one of the players. So hopefully we got the score right. We're jumping back into it. Next, 6 points. Technically the advantage here, but perhaps the momentum favoring Zash instead. There's just so many different factors going into this kind of stuff. And maybe that's super important that Nex got out of the lobby and stalled for time and, as we say in the industry, put the opponent on ice. Trying to break their momentum. Or is it icing the opponent? I forgot. But you probably can guess what it means. Getting one close slash here. Counter hit. Tightrope into the other side. Wall break would be great here. Don't even need it because these tightrope special moves, or rather normal moves, cost so much damage. Especially with a character like Zato, who does not have any guts at all. Zero guts characters always takes maximum amount of damage, even in low health situations, which is very strange for, you know, very rare situation in Guilty Gear games. That is known for the guts mechanic, which basically makes you take less damage the lower life you are. On the other hand, Chip though, 5 guts, complete opposite, takes very little damage. Technically, I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that Chip is the lowest defensive character, or the slowest defense modifier character in the game. And now, looking for one more hit potentially. Reset the pressure, and I think that's it, right? Spending the Wild Assault, resetting the pressure, finding a hit like that. 7. Oh, Chip has 4 guts? Is that right? Is that different from Exert and XX? Because I thought Chip had 5 guts. But I definitely believe you if you say that. Alright, 7-5, really good back and forth. It looked like for a moment there that Zash was kind of struggling, but was able to fight it back into a very respectable 7-5 on a very hard to control character such as Zato. That's a lot of zzz sounds there. It's a very difficult kind of sound for a Finn to make. Alright, what do we got next? We got 2 more games tonight, because unfortunately we had to cancel our 7th matchup, which was supposed to be Strelitzia versus Pokey. But now following it up with more Chip goodness. Oh, wait. No. We agreed, we are actually gonna play the 6th matchup first, right? Because Koi had a sort of a situation where they need to play next. So we're gonna play this one before the 5th matchup slot. So jumping into the other super high level matchup next. Alright, so first time we see Koi on Bounty Hunters, and as we were extrapolating at the start of the set, or at the start of the show, initially Koi was planning on maybe playing on Leo, because this is of course an individual that plays many characters. One could even argue probably all characters. if Koi's, rating update profile is to be believed. Plays so many different characters, probably able to pilot many different characters at high level. Potentially a player that could play the random character challenge on Bounty Hunters, which we have from time to time, which basically means that you're being randomed a character for every single game. Especially if you're playing against somebody else who is on the challenge as well. I would bet a lot of money that Koi would be super good at that. But this time around, it's gonna be Anji versus Decoy's Jacko. So Decoy, of course, being one of our go-to Jacko players, probably at this point the most common Jacko player that we see Bounty Hunters on Bounty Hunters. Period.
Change society. So instead of reflecting on themselves, they blame the beasts.
And definitely has experience in this matchup as well. Now, we saw Anji versus Nago earlier, which is a very clean, very traditional long-range striker, aka Nago, versus the counter character, the spinner, which is Anji. Now, the situation changes a little if you're trying to spin projectiles. Are we okay here? Oh, so Koi says controller disconnected. Damn, we're getting all sorts of issues right from the get-go here.
Danger. Negative penalty.
So hopefully Koi will be able to connect to controller again. I think Strive has pretty good prospects for reattaching controller in the middle of the match, which was definitely not the case with older Guilty Gear PC versions, where if your controller disconnected, it could be impossible to connect it anymore after the fact. But yeah, we're probably gonna just skip it back to the lobby and start from the beginning here after Koi gets the controller sorted out. Alright, looks like we probably have signs of light from the controller. So that's gonna be a no count. We're gonna start from 0-0 to make it interesting and to make it fair for all parties involved. This is not, this is not tournament. This is not, big money event after all. So it's highly encouraged that we have fun here and have the good sportsmanship, as they call it. Alright, everything seems to be working fine. So new opportunity here for our other super high level matchup of the evening. Decoy Snail, Koi. Both players who are hovering around the 1.9k to 2k marker. If we just look at the unfunny stats. Ooh, that was actually too much steering forward. Shin ends up whiffing on a crouching Jacko there. Right, on the warpath, gets a frame trap into big soccer kick, and now being able to take a lot of summons out. And the point that I was trying to make earlier is that, Jacko, a very prominent projectile character, being able to summon those minions and then use them as projectiles. If you dance projectiles, it's actually not going to be as good as if you were dancing through strikes, because they don't really usually recoveries from projectiles is much faster, and you're just not gonna get the same bang out of the buck if you're dancing projectiles. In fact, it could put you in a minus frame situation instead. Ooh, what a Hail Mary! Goes for a Goes for a call from basically half screen away. YRC back. However, that was... Decoy was basically primed and ready that was gonna happen. Used the light button instead and waited for the YRC, got the punish, and wham bam, thank you ma'am, go for the next round. Throw into, here's where it starts. The looping of the pressure. However, that 5D, I think that was probably meant to be a throw, which did not register as such. Because Koi didn't even have 50 meter. I think without 50 meter, you usually wouldn't play the tap blitz, right? Sorry, not blitz, tap 5D.
Duel 3. Let's rock.
A nice corner carry combo. We still have... Ooh, was able to use the 2S to basically shoot the artillery shot, but that was way too steep of an angle because Koi is actually coming in with vengeance. Of course, with a character pairing like this, you would always love to stick to your opponent as much as possible because Jacko is so good from full range. You would much rather be at your optimal striking distance. Oh, nice. We'll be able to pair it up with the use of 50 tension, and the super is not, unfortunately, available. Now, what can Koi do with this amount of pressure, this amount of meter? The first... Oh, the timing! It's still active! No way! No way! The safe play would be to get the throw here. However, safe is not one of the words in Decoy's vocabulary. They wanted the big numbers. They wanted the big kill, and I think... You know, without conditionals, any character can make massive hit confirms from, like, maximum charge 5D. I think that was what Decoy was basically planning there. Just don't worry about anything else. Just launch them, get a 200 damage conversion, and that should kill no matter how much life Koi has. But it backfired. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, the timing to punish that parry super is super difficult. Even for top-level players, they tend to miss it. That's why some players just have given up trying to successfully, consistently hit the timing, and they just go for the throw as a punish. It kind of sucks because the risk-reward is not great, but I mean, that's better than missing your punish and striking into the active frames, right? Alright, so far, so good. For Decoy, at least. Shin catching the backdash. I think that's still pretty okay. Getting like any sort of backwards pushing soft knockdown that you can follow up on. As long as you're ready to follow up on it. Speaking of following up on things, Decoy. Unfortunately, a couple too many strikes there. The wall ends up giving before they get an opportunity to go for the super. Now the meter is in fact instead gonna go into wire C, but not able to get into a pressure situation out of it. Instead, Koi bring it to the corner, spending the 100, and you know how this is usually gonna end. Maximum damage from that 100 meter burn. I really like sequences like that. Aatreus has been like recently in almost really good. Too bad the call ended up whiffing here. I like how Aatreus has recently introduced way more things or options for spending like 100 meter and making it very valuable as a finisher. Ooh, mistake. Into close slash pressure. When are we gonna try to interrupt? 2S into, caught the backdash. Small combos, but they all end up stacking up in the end, and the overhead option, the late air backdash, is gonna be the nail on the coffin here, putting Koi 1-1. But yeah, I absolutely love fighting games where you have like cash out on full resources and you get like a lot of bang out of your buck, such as Slayer's Last Horizon, such as Sin's 100 RTL, such as what else is there? I mean, Anji's the super and then go into more extra hits there with 100 is like another clever example of how that could work. Although I'm not sure if Aatreus actually like planned it to be kind of like that. It's just a feature of the super that there's gonna be like multiple hits before the actual wall break happens. Ooh, nice whip punish there. Unfortunately, that was with a 2K, so limited options for hitting the opponent afterwards at that full range. Is the connection actually okay here? It's a lot of what seems to be kind of hiccuping. Right, dash forward from that minus situation. If it's fully spaced, Nagiha, usually not the easiest thing to punish for many characters. And the pressure still isn't over. Bar slash catches on the back dash, so that's gonna reset the situation. And now burst from Koi. 6P finds its mark on the minion. That means we can cancel forward. And again, the well-spaced Nagiha even on hit. And when it lands, we go into this one, the meterless conversion that is nowadays available for Anji players. This is the difference between vanilla Anji that was just, you know, kind of lackluster and just lacked a lot of quality of life tools. And now we've arrived to this absolute giga chad of a character that has really good conversions, like really good flow, really good RPS, even full screen against characters that can like kind of zone you. Just finding himself to be like a full-fledged character at this point. And his super is gonna deal enough damage, putting Decoy at 2-1 position here. Starting up very even.
Duel 1.
But which player will utilize the data able to be collected here better? Ooh, the 2S footsies from Anji. Anji, a character that is not known not necessarily known the normal neutral fundamentals or the footsies, if you will. Able to actually pick all the best buttons to kind of play the mid-range poking game on par with Jacko. I mean, you could argue that Jacko is not either that kind of character. More, you know, getting value out of those situations where you can actually involve your minions. But I mean, Jacko still has some really, really nice buttons, such as like the 2K, the 5 heavy. Those are like some of the better buttons. Speaking of 5 heavy, moving forward, setting up pretty okay situation, especially if you're playing against non-DP characters, right? And there's another counter hit, scoring a wall stick straight into the super. Looking so far so good for Snail on this round. And Koi doesn't even have a lot of defensive resources here. Pushed into the corner. Oh, this could be bad. Because, like, would you spend burst here? After Snail activates the blue, would you spend? I don't think I would. Because Koi is up on a round. Yeah, I think it's just try to pray that there's some sort of mistake on your opponent and save the burst resources to the next round. Again, go back to round start, go back to full health situation, and go from there. Okay, there we saw an example of spinning into those incoming minions. Not really. The jumpy actually countering the core there. Rare phenomenon. There we go. Powering through with the low. Instant air dash works out. Counter hit 2S. That's gonna go into a decent 1-2-3 combo. Wait, the close slash was already active. I thought that the blue RC, judging by the frame, that Decoy would have been able to throw, but no. The close slash was actually active enough, or late into the activation frames. And Koi, just like that, evens it up 2-2. It's really tough. Sometimes you get in these situations, especially in fighting games where you have mechanics that can stop time, such as the RC in Guilty Gear. When you check the frame, can you determine if you have time to A, throw, B, 6P, or maybe like even do a 2K or stuff like that? Sometimes it's really ambiguous and hard to determine. Gonna go through the wall once again with a super. A Decoy just going into close slash, the classic kind of pressure. Against certain characters, there is an option for Jacko to play more defensive. Just take out minions, establish more of a defensive perimeter instead. Left, right, oh, the classic finds its mark. Do it again. Deflect shield does push the main body backwards, even if the projectiles or the minions are still maintaining. Recover on the 2S is not fast enough. Gonna crack by the Elysian driver. And now, set up more minions again. As long as we have that minion gauge, we can basically make the projectile say boom and ban. Ooh, tick! Even despite the FD there, was still close enough to make the tap 5D. Did I say tick? I meant tap. But now, so close to the burst. Look at that. Basically, the last hit was enough to build the burst back for Koi. But, you know, not close enough. Fighting games are often games where small things such as like couple of frames or couple of pixels or just a couple of like small numerical values on your health are gonna make all the difference in the world. 6p into basically a maximum conversion, puts Decoy in the corner, really late PRC. I think usually I see players drifting forward from that PRC and then pressing buttons as an FRC, right? But I mean, you can definitely do it like that as well, especially if you're kind of not ready to play the FRC that people often play in those situations. Nagiha, once again, is very spaced and there is no true punish to be had on Decoy's side. I think Jacko would often have to IB that if she wants to get a guaranteed punish. But even for the minus frames, you could RPS, you could press buttons such as, ooh, never mind, hold that thought, we got a counter super here. And now, how are we gonna play this? Try to go for a roll of red wild assault. Initially not reaching fast enough, takes the burst. However, I think that was a gold burst, so only minus, what is it, -2 or -3. So not necessarily punishable. The 2K ends the march of Koi. Gets a wall break, has to break, right? If you stick your opponent very high on the wall, you don't really have an option to go for the splash. Very nice timing on the minion parry, and that actually leads a full conversion. With that 50 meter, that used to be like the legacy option from a parry command was that you would have to go for straight into Elision Driver. That was basically the only conversion that you could do. But in the modern patch, you can actually combo with your normals as well. Still an option after that to spend the Elision Driver, which of course you will do if your opponent is close to dying. Yep, go for the 2S. Doesn't matter which side the opponent is. Gonna work as an anti-air. Reset. We have the 50 meter here. Blue buff could be imminent. F-Shiki is instead of the option, and then the cash out. We're gonna play the more fancy, the more damaging options here. And still Decoy with 50 meter. So many different options here. Close slash is still a close slash, even if you are a character that kind of plays more of the keep away game. It's still a Guilty Gear Strive close slash. Close slashes universally in this game are built to be basically your best pressure starters, no matter what character you are, generally. I mean, there are a couple of characters who have -1 close slashes, but generally they are plus, they are very active, they reach very far, and they're just absolute Giga Chad buttons. Ooh, the left right, which way we're gonna land on, and again, Decoy putting themselves in the corner, but it's all worth it if the opponent does not block. For we can switch a position again and get the big wall break. And now, are we gonna go in? No, this time we actually take the defensive posture. Tension bonus, gonna build up Decoy up to around 75. Spend it. I think this will not wall break. This is super close to a kill. Yeah, because the combo wasn't too prorated yet. Decoy actually makes a really nice judgment call there that this super is actually gonna kill. Just go right into it. It's an overhead, and again the Rin is a hard knockdown and will give you an opportunity to go for a. Ooh, this time we tried to go for a Rin to show the visual stimulus, but then go into a low instead. That time though, Decoy was fuzzy jumping. Slightly unfortunate how that tends to be a lot of the that tends to be a very common option that like super high level players will play in those situations. Some will even say like forget everything else and just mash fuzzy jump until they call you out. And fuzzy jumps are actually kind of hard to call out unless you're like a very advanced character and you understand what the opponent is doing. Finds a Fujin. No hit confirmed. But we're still in the warpath. Look at this risk. Slowly building up. 1-2 into a throw. Throwing out of the corner. This could actually be pretty good for decoys now. However, with the use of the butterfly, won't allow the backdash out. Commits into a big dash. And catches decoy out of that backdash. Still very even Stevens here. Decoy with only one game of a lead. Nice! Straight under there, ready for the... Oh, goes for the F-Shiki. Nice conversion. It's these... Like, a lot of... Often enough, you see players attempting the F-Shiki setups, which are like, kind of like instant overhead options that take advantage of the opponent's state. Basically puts them, like, the previous hit that you make forces them to stand up, and then even if they crouch during the blocking animation, their character won't be able to crouch, and they will still have the standing hitbox, which you can utilize to land your sort of instant overheads. Cool attempt there to bypass the minions, however, 6P, checkmate, dab. Keep to the basics, use your best anti-air, your whatchamacallit, your upper body invulnerability. Should work no matter what character you are in most situations. Now Koi being very patient here. After being, or rather after Decoy being able to establish a really high count minion board, if you will. We got a sandwich here. We got a lot of meter as well. The backdash into 2S goes under whatever button Decoy was planning there. Do another throw, set up the butterfly. Ooh, I like that. Especially since Decoy's jumped out of the butterfly, that introduced a fuck ton of blast frames for Koi there on the landing. A rather neutral trade here. Sends the call once again, which I'm actually surprised, or like, there are a couple of different things you could do to a missed call. You could just jump with it and punish it with an air throw, but how Decoy has chosen to tackle it for the most part is just dash under and put yourself in a better position instead. And speaking of good positions, 5 heavy into soccer kick frame trap. Opponent in the corner, we have so many resources. A little bit of chugging here on terms of the internet. Hopefully it does not play a huge part here. Punishes the the gold burst. On whiff, of course, it is minus quite a bit. Plus frames from the core. Where's the last mix-up gonna come from? 2P. Ooh. And the 2P was meant to make that a YRC by Decoy. I think the timing just didn't align. Decoy pressed the YRC at a timing where it turned into a blue RC, but we're still not out here. Double jump, coming down with the jump B. Punish? No, again, no punish. Just put yourself in a better position. I kind of like this, because we're playing Jacko. It kind of set the checkmate here. I mean, it's of course so different if you're used to playing it like so, where you have the muscle memory. If you see Anji Ko, you just jump with it and you air throw it. Ooh, nice alignment here. Actually jumping against the shin as well. It is like a lot of value lost, or rather a lot of value extracted by Anji players if they manage to make you block that shin. So it's in your best interest to try to not make that happen. Green again. Ooh, and then the close last, big conversion. Actually, without the 50 meter, maybe dropping the combo early is the best proposition here. The Elysian Driver, once again, is gonna sort of reverse the situation. Both players very dry on resources. The only thing that KaraKoi has is an Deflect Shield here. Goes for it. However, look at this. Due to the nature of the mix-up, Decoy's nail actually slipped to the right side and then activated the attack command, I think, to punish the recovery of the Deflect Shield. Is that what happened? And now, once again, in the mix with DJ Decoy until the 2P, one of the best 2Ps, one of the furthest reaching 2Ps in the game. Able to get out of there. And the 6-heavy, are you kidding me? Koi is pressing all the most daring buttons and it's working out. We're converting big time again. a little short of the 50 meter that we would like to have, and can't afford to break the wall against a strong neutral character such as Jacko. So good offensive decisions by KaraKoi. But then Decoy broke out of there, and now looking for one more hit. 50 meter, we could YRC. YRC is indeed the option. Rin, drop them. Find the low. It's still not over. We need one more. Burst is not gonna be an option here for Decoy. What a read. Sees, or perhaps smells, the command hop coming out. Able to jump out of the command grab, sorry, not command grab, the command hop into a throw, which is technically like the fastest option you can perform from that. That's why we often play that as like the go-to, try to catch the opponent off guard. Just do your fastest move after landing from the command hop. But Decoy, fuzzy jumping at that moment, able to get out of there and land into a punish. Okay, I think the players did notice that we dropped out, so they're gonna sandbag out of the game as fast as possible. So that means we're luckily not gonna miss any rounds, any games out of this spectacle. Again, it started very common formula. It started out very even, 2-2, but from that position, Decoy Snail started perhaps processing the data a little better, started adjusting, started RPSing, started guessing better, started just getting the best out of many of these situations, and now we arrived at this score, 6-3. Still not impossible comeback to make, especially because it is Anji. If you get in there, if you get a couple of close slashes in, if you get to reset your pressure a couple of times with the use of Rin, or the command hop, or, you know, charged Fujin into more charged Fujin stuff, you can build meter really fast, you can stack risk really fast. And if you manage to do those, you can also end rounds extremely fast as well. But of course, it's gonna be really hard to get in that position on a more rushdown oriented character like Anji when you're playing against a very defensive character like Jacko. Or I guess defensive, I mean, Jacko is kind of like a jack of all trades in a way, but definitely enjoys playing from range against characters like, you know, characters like Anji, for instance, that can be zoned out a little. Great pokes there, takes out all the minions. I think so far we haven't seen this side of the neutraling much, as Koi has been, you know, playing more of the aggressive options, just trying to dash forward, trying to dance forward, and trying to pounce at Snail instead of just, you know, waiting for the minions to come in and poke. Yo, minus frames into Kato Hugetsu. The certified. Ooh, wait a minute! Got the backdash there and the 5D punish. I think this was the punish that Decoy was trying to get on the very first game of the set. And it makes a lot of sense because Jacko is a character with very low damage output. So if you actually want to put out any reasonable damage, you probably want to go into that fully charged 5D if you can. I mean, if the damage makes a difference, like if you can kill your opponent. Otherwise, maybe you want to, you know, do a combo that sets up further pressure because you are kinda like Vortex-y or like a blender kind of character. Not really, but like you have some of the makings of those characters. Trying to, I think, bait out the reversal options there from Koi. There we go, the timing was perfect! The 2K is small, but it is better than the throw, I would say. Any strike is gonna lead into more damage than the throw. And now, we're throwing you through the wall. Koi, with another potential reversal parry opportunity. Decoy doesn't want to engage with any of that, though. just opting to stay at full range, throwing the projectiles, however, eventually, ooh, going to the gold burst even. This is a big commitment. Careful from the explosion. He's gonna be able to move forward enough using the special moves so that the explosion radius of the remaining lingering minion does not actually play any part in this equation. I think Koi pressed the button here, right? Yeah. And the Illusion Driver is gonna deal enough damage. Man, that was quite the round, wasn't it? Now, first set point decoy snail. Is Koi gonna be... Ooh, nice backdash catch. 5 heavy, moves you forward, has lots of active frames. A wonder button at that. But here we go, launching with that Nagiha. Going for the overhead, no punish. I think Rin should be always punishable here, especially, like, since it... Nice! Into the launch. The max damage incoming. And then, because you get this last launch situation, it kind of puts you in a, like, somewhere between hard and a soft knockdown. It definitely gives you a lot of plus frames. And a positive bonus as well. No escaping the fish, though. Shin catches backdash. Decoy's tail goes for an immediate gold burst for a positive bonus. They're gonna explode. Careful, I think the explosion also hurts yourself as a Jacko, but here we go, confirming into a successful combo. That's gonna be the last piece of the puzzle for Decoy Snail. From a 2-2, or was it a 3-3 position, Decoy Snail explodes, onwards, fights, and zones, mixes, and does everything you could ever imagine. Run your wildest fantasy. Decoy Snail did it. 7-3. But that makes sense because I think Decoy Snail has a pretty decent experience playing this matchup as well and knows how to play it. It's like one of the most important things. I mean, you could say about any matchup, but like you have to, like if you have an option to stabilize the Anji matchup in a way that Anji just doesn't get his best risk reward, you kind of want to play like that, right? Because you don't want to participate in the high gamble kind of gameplay. That's the kind of pace that Anji wants to impose. But when you're a low reward character like Jacko, that's like, nuh-uh. I'm not about that life. I'm about more, you know, the control instead. All right, our last matchup of the evening is going to be Emu versus Krez. In the honor of the recent, very extremely recent victory of Andros Potemkin today on Kayane Cup, we're gonna have Krez Potemkin. The new era of big bodies is here. Has been kind of, you know, talked about by many players. Some of the top characters currently in the tier list or in the knocking order are, you know, characters such as Potemkin, Gold Lewis, Nago, characters that deal a lot of damage but also take very little damage themselves. And the target that we have here, Chip, is one that bleeds the absolute most out of the whole cast in Guilty Gear Strive. If you manage to land basically anything on this character, it's light out with 2 touches usually. So let's see, we still need Emu in the lobby. Alright, and since this is a slightly higher skill level match than the one we saw earlier on Chip, we should have a little bit more tightrope gameplay here. Because it's like, the tightrope combos are difficult, or I guess the combos are not that difficult, but if you want to set up Okizeme situations with tightrope, the timings are kind of manual, right? Especially if you want to make your setups safe jumps. Although, I wonder if that's going to be a huge problem against Potemkin, who's only real reversal is sort of the Heavenly Potemkin Buster. I guess that remains to be seen. Potemkin definitely has the life to sort of make gambles, make big plays, check if you have your setups, you know, tight, set up correctly. It's kind of like pressing a button on Wake Up and asking, or pressing even like a throw on Wake Up as a reversal and asking, do you have meaties? If you don't have meaties, why should I stop pressing buttons? Why should I stop throwing on Wake Up if you don't know how to perform your setups properly? It's kind of the same, like, that concept is like perpetuated on high health characters like Potemkin. They can afford to do it. Characters like Chip not necessarily, because like if you make one mistake, it could be over. But Potemkin, who you like, if you're playing against characters like Chip, you're probably expecting to be able to live like way more than 3 touches, maybe 4, 5 even, or more, depending on the like what kind of hits we're talking about. Because even like your 5k into Reka Kara cancel does not do that much damage. It's kind of like the backbone of your hit confirms as Chip, because like it's like let's be honest, you can go from a light into a wall break just like that by just spending 50 meter, and then your Chip on positive bonus on a hard knockdown, and that's a huge prospect. But like hit confirms like that don't really do that much damage on Potemkin, right? And you can expect to be able to take like many of those before you go down, which also means you can try a lot of stuff. You can test them, you can RPS, maybe some of your options are counter options against the opponent's options, and you can get to gamble a little, play a little bit of lottery. Alright, but Krez, Imu. Some of the biggest contrast of any characters in Guilty Gear Strive that I can think of. The heavy hitting grappler, which is Potemkin, and then the jack of all trades, Pixie character. The Arx's archetype of character that usually has everything, or basically any basic function of like any tool that you could ever want. But the only problem is that they just don't have the hit points. I mean, Akuma or Gorky on Street Fighter is another really great example of characters like that. You just have like all sorts of different weird tools, every tool that you could ever hope for, but if they take a hit, it's gonna hurt so much. So consistency is gonna, ooh, nice instant air dash, actually catches the, I think it was a forward Mega Fist from Krez, right? Overhead, no cancel though. I mean, usually we see Chip players pair that overhead Rekka with RC, so then it doesn't matter if it hits or not. You're still okay. Backdash out of Potemkin Buster, but not the biggest punish. And again, waking up with the buttons. If the opponent's setups are not tight, then we might as well gamble with the what's that called? Not heat tackle. That's the one. Ooh, what's gonna happen here though? Is he gonna collide? No! The Gigantor actually does not come out at all! Krez gets locked into the animation. And now the cross-ups. One in the back, one in the front, and then the bait on the burst. So much meter here. Heavenly Potemkin Buster is always an option. The startup is involved. And often enough, if you don't want to try to skip a hop out of the corner situation, what you could do is you utilize the long invo frame period of the Heavenly Potemkin Buster, and then you cancel it into a PRC in order to try to sort of power through the opponent's active frames and punish them. Oh, interesting. So this will not wall break. This will always, Sansei Rocket will always reset the opponent back into the mid-screen, and then the mix-up here misses a 2S. I wonder if it was a frame kill, actually. 5k, very nice. Even through the backdash, is able to catch the vulnerable frames of Potemkin afterwards. We're just powering out of there with the use of Hammerfall. Get hit by the Garuda. That's gonna send you into a reeling state. We can combo out of that with the Potemkin Buster, of course. one more hit, runs. Wait, that was actually the hitbox on the slide head. Because that was a lot of damage that Imu took there. Usually like the unblockable part, or I guess it's not an unblockable in Strive, but actually whatchamacallit, a full screen low, right? Does that actually do any damage? I think that part doesn't do damage per se, right? But if you're close enough, then the slide head, the hitbox itself, is gonna deal the normal damage of the move. Which is what Imu kind of ended up running into. Ooh, to the other side, however, the 5P, one of the best 5Ps in the game. Reaches really far. Ooh, the hard reach here. This is gonna force a wall break. And with the positive bonus, ooh, we're just gambling. Don't you try to grab for me. Imu, no fear whatsoever. And then into close slash pressure. Plus frames, however, the problem with the clone on Chip is that you kind of want to be as close as possible so you could utilize those plus frames. If you have the dash forward, then there's a threat of you actually having to spend the plus frames just dashing forward. One more. Definitely a threat for a chip kill as well. Finds the DP, yeah, you might as well, because you can't take those Garudas on block anymore. They are guard crashes after all, and deal so much damage. Alpha into, or wait, no, wait, did they change that? Is Garuda actually guard crush nowadays? I think it is still a guard crush, right? Damn, am I dumb? Am I actually stupid? Hello? And then, oh, misses the super input. That's super unfortunate. Now, you could potentially be in a really bad situation if Potemkin player gets to take out the whatchamacallit, the Gigantor. The Aegis Reflector is such a bothersome tool at neutral, but maybe not for a character like Chip who can actually approach from very many different kinds of angles. The classic high damage combo, wall cling up slashes. Oh, you press the button again, and Sansei Roga for the second time. Imu basically sending a message here saying, stop pressing buttons. I'm gonna gamble. I'm basically gonna do the DP plus. And now Crez is so low health that armor still takes the damage. However, as long as we have at least one, you need only one, and you live. Chip damage is a problem here. Sansei Roga again from the backside. I think, you know, the jump D was on its recovery period, but even if through some miracle Crez would have been able to recover, it still, I guess, would have to like guess left right, because Sansei Roga is that kind of annoying move. Yeah, Imu really loves the Sansei Roga. I know a lot of Chip players who just love that move, and it's very understandable. Yo, we go into our own command crab because Leaf Crab is airborne? That is definitely one super hard read option to counter the armored Karabuster. That is actually quite the menace nowadays. Beats so many different options. Ooh, the burst! The burst! Completely airballing because that was a... Wait, wasn't that a blue burst? Wait, what happened there? Wait, why did that burst with? Huh? You can't armor bursts, right? So that was a heat tackle. What? I don't understand. All right. Give me an instant replay. Anyway, through the wall we go. And now from the instant air dash, don't have to worry about much because the opponent does not have a true DP. Just get in there. And more of a traditional wall break here using Bunky Messai. And because Imu has so much tension already, this is gonna be so tough for Crez. Yeah, can't really burst here. A Chip who basically has 75-meter tension bonus all their life, and you have none? Yeah, just that's an impossible scenario to come back from. Into, ooh, faking the forward, or rather the front. So there are all kinds of different options here. I think the layer one is to go left-right, but then you could also land into, you know, land into lows. Could play very delayed overheads, could even land into throws. Lots of different options that you can perform out of the tightrope, as you might imagine. How the tools of this kind usually tend to play out. But the problem, of course, for an archetype of character such as Chip is those vortex options historically just don't lead into that much damage, right? You trade firepower for the variety and the difficulty of blocking your mix-up. Ooh, good time on the burst. Ooh, that's gonna hurt. Let's see your biggest close slash punish. Yeah, it's more than half of your life gone. And because the Gigantor is a multi-hit, we actually get the same feature that, we've seen from the Anji players spending 100. Gee, Potemkin, how does your mom let you have that functionality with only 50 meter? Gigantor really is a tool. Coming down with the cheeks, it's a very different, very difficult kind of timing scenario if you want to actually punish that. You would have to not get tagged yourself and then try to catch the opponent on their landing recovery. And we're dead here. Yep, we're so dead! I mean, Emu did have a couple of opportunities to vary the burst timing. Like, is it gonna come out instantly? Is it gonna come out after first normal? But I mean, I guess your options kind of end there, because then it's gonna be like into like heat crab or heat knuckle, and then you're guaranteed going through the wall, and it's a grab, and you can't break grabs with bursts and all that. A good block on the overhead. Ooh, and the 6B actually catching the Alpha Blade. That's the DP, get out of here. Let's see if Krez would burst. But persevering so far, overhead, FRC, there we go, waiting for that FRC to come out before unleashing the defensive resource. I like it. Make your opponent spend as much as possible before you combo break. Because you're a heavy damage, high health character, you can actually afford to do that. But again, Chip can't. You can't afford to take hits. That's why historically Chip players usually tend to burst immediately, because they can't afford to take any of those stray hits. Jump the RPS. Skip it. Ooh, the DP actually manages to land and switch positions. That was a quite of a value DP for Emu. Not only getting out of there, but also putting Krez into the corner afterwards. Alright, plus frames. Again, the 5B. The 5B has been the magic cure against the plus frame of that Chip clone so far. So I guess ooh. Dead? Question mark? That's so dead. We are so dead. But yeah, I guess Emo would have to keep it tighter, so I guess press a button of your own immediately after the clone in order to frame trap the 5B. That is Potemkin's 5-framer. God, we're so dead. That was 2 super fast rounds back to back. But I mean, that's sometimes how it is. Kind of the nature of the matchup. When you are on the driver's seat as Chip, you're making the opponent guess wrong like 5 or 6 times, slowly whittling them down. And then Potemkin, big hits. Even the single heat tackle took like what, 1/5 of Chip's hit points there. I mean, I guess it's not that bad. Those kind of hits are just like whatever. Alright, and at the 50 meter to go into the Kara Super as well. I think it's the first Kara Bunky of the set as well. The natural, normal Chip gameplay is finally unleashed. I guess because the nature of how Potemkin's new defensive options work has kind of prevented Emu from playing that usual pressure game. Yeah, look at that. Perfect spacing there. But had Emu been a little closer there, trying to reset the pressure or trying to make a small gap between the pressure, would have actually gotten Emu grabbed most of the time. It was only the spacing that saved him. And again, jumping out of the command grab. This is actually great counterplay by Emu against the Buster. Hasn't gotten Buster more than like a couple of times in the corner so far. Which side? I don't know. It kind of looked like Emo was gonna cross through the left side, but then suddenly appearing on the right side. Big damage conversion, drops it. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Yes. Gambling it all. Come at me. I'm gonna Zanseroga. Finish it with style. Emo making it 3 points even. Alright, we've had this script so many times tonight. This is usually where the adjustments start happening. Or will they? Maybe these two players are perfect for each other. Maybe they will, for the first time of the evening, go down to the wire. Oh my god, swinging really wild. The RPS here is, of course, if you go for like a heat tackle and the opponent basically presses anything, you're probably gonna, you know, get caught in the armor frames of the tackle. DP, multi-hit, and we'll clear the threat of the thing. Potemkin Buster. With the BMB combo. Unfortunately, won't have the 50 tension here to get the hard knockdown. So back to playing neutral. Oh. I think we're dead, right? Not quite, drops the combo. And now Emu can unleash, you know it! Zanseroga could even RC here, but I think it just kills, because Zanseroga is like decently high amount of damage as like a raw hit. Alright, the very delayed air dash into jump slash, actually able to punish the 6P there on the round start. Into a mix, low this time. The most important feature, of course, is to keep it tight enough so that Potemkin can't just wake up with an armored buster. Or 6P. Oh! Emo tried to press a button there, but it's all in vain, for that is armor. Tried to go for a buster again. However, this time, the fast 6K, or is that... How fast is 2K for a chip? Is that 5 frame as well? Yo, it's gonna go through the armor! I think... Wait. Supers will always beat armor, right? So even the first hit is gonna slice through. Am I getting this straight? Emo has finished like... Has Emo finished all of the sets so far with a Zanseroga? Referee, is this correct? We have a Zanseroga enthusiast here. Ooh, won't be able to produce multiple hits here in time. And again, gamble with that armor. I mean, it makes sense. Both of these players have taken a lot of wild gambles this set. I mean, raw Zanseroga is of course same kind of gamble as neutral heat tackle. If it's blocked, well, the opponent is gonna get a close slash punish. To the other side. Tried the 6P here, but this time Emu's setup is tight enough. Can we get out of there? No colliding with the armor. Sorry, the mirror. The Aegis Reflector. That one. Yeah, not gonna let that round start Hammerfall break fly. I do like it that some of the old spirit of Potemkin pressure has been brought back in the form of, you know, the Hammerfall break being just a little bit faster than previously. Of course, it's still nowhere near the powerhouse of a, you know, sequence that it was in Exert or XX. There we go. Had really kind of, I think Emu was trying to unleash a DP here. You like if you're really paying attention and you know that the spacing is not quotation correct for Potemkin, you could unleash your reversal here on reaction, such as your DP. But it's all about, is it spaced perfectly? Because that move, Garuda Impact, has so much disjoint that if there's a couple of character lengths between you and your opponent, it is gonna clash with the DP, and then it's about, you know, who option selects into better things out of that clash. Ooh, a combo drop here. Tightrope. I was thinking it's going to cross. No! Some sort of mistake here. Or perhaps, is it Zanseroga again? Man, every single Zanseroga just seems to sink in. How is he doing? Is he a magician? Is he mind controlling the opponent? Does he just know? Or perhaps it's the thing that we talked about earlier, that Potemkin has the ability to take big gambles, and because of that, he is gonna gamble. So if you think the opponent is gonna gamble, then you double gamble. you go for a super. If you know they're gonna press a button, then why not? It's like Imu's 5 out of 5 with those. Leaf Crab into more. What's the next mix-up? I wouldn't be surprised if Imu soon just dashes in and does like a late Zanzeroga meaty and it hits, and I'm gonna be like not surprised at all. Right, jump D, counter hit from a little awkward angle, so will be hard to pick up. Right, a lot of meter going into that exchange. Crez trying to save himself, however, won't be able to close out the round here. Now instead, Crez ends up having to go into this next round with no burst whatsoever. With burst from Imu. B stops the dash forward. But with the BNB combo, nice, we'll be able to build into the Bunky Mess side. So big value here. Even though Crez has 50 meter, this should still be pretty okay proposition for Chep. YRC into. Imu being very patient here until not getting punished too bad out of that counter hit. However, that's gonna be a kill, right? So Crez once again from an even position, powering through with the RPS, with the gambles. On a driver's seat. Imu not able to find the Zanzeroga this time. It's been the ace card, ace in the hole. I wonder, can Imu even win rounds if they don't have the Zanzeroga? Is it possible? Ooh, great RPS there again, pressing the 5B. Crez has been very active with that button, and this time with the makeshift anti-air. Bar slash from Potemkin, combo into blue Wild Assault. Instead of the white color, we nowadays have a different one, which in certain ways is even better. It's like white Wild Assault and blue Wild Assault just do completely different kinds of things. Ooh, miss on the 5 heavy. Still on the driver's seat, we get a positive bonus and 100 meter. What can we sink that into? I mean, I know what I know what we could do with it, but what should we do with it? Overhead RC seems to be one of the go-to tools that many chip players like to use. Nice, there's perfect whip punish there on the landing frames, and then you bet your ass, Zanzeroga. However, this is not a raw Zanzeroga, so it might actually not kill. Yes, indeed. However, we can follow it up with all kinds of nasty things, such as the diagonal alpha that Imu just played, or leaf crab, or just dash in and go for a close slash. Lots of different options. Imu slowly running out of health. Big investment here in terms of meter if Imu gets out of the corner, and he does. Same side mix-up once again. 6B again. The 6B has been working out from that same position so many times. What is the counterplay? Is it just to play perfectly? I think it was meant to be an empty throw or an empty 2K again. But like we discussed, the tightrope mix-ups, the tightrope Okizeme is kinda hard to time depending on what kind of option you want to play. And I think like empty 2K options, I think you can make those meaty, right? If you execute perfectly. I forgot. But the emphasis on the word execute perfectly. If you can execute perfectly. If you are a perfect human being, if you are a robot, if you are a world-class warrior, still living, not for long because we have 50 meter ready to go, and Crez, set point for the first time. Is this how the last... Ooh, nice interruption there in between the normal and blue Wild Assault. Overhead, finds its mark, of course. Spent the meter. Not the biggest cash out, decently high cash out because it is Potemkin after all. And now with a positive bonus, nice whip punish. And next hit would be big if we manage to find it. Land trap is a little too far. I think even without the jump, Crez might have been able to be fine there. It's a big ass combo. Lots of corner carry into the corner. That builds so much tension. One more hit and it's over. Just like that. Take out the gun. Always has been. It's been always here. On every single Oki. And what can you do? At that spacing, there were no options. I mean, technically blocking was not an option there either. You would have to go for like a deflect shield I mean, Deflect Shield would be such a good option because you can actually push Potemkin away with that. But other than that, that spacing, you can't DP. Imu didn't have the meter, as far as I can remember. And if you block it, your minus gazillion, and then you're taking a mix-up. Options were very, very limited. So Krez ends up taking, from a 4-4 position, the last sprint. And makes it 3 in a row to 7-4. In the spirit of Andros today, Potemkin players have prevailed. Thank you, thank you. You love to see it. I mean, you know, some players love to see it. I mean, the reason why I love to see it is it's kind of nice to see Potemkin players, the Crappler players, to have a little bit of, you know, success. But then some other players are already kind of like fed up with the top tier grappler, which, you know, depending how you look things, like top tier grapplers can be very mentally taxing to deal with, to put it nicely. But anyway, I'm really happy for the Potemkin players for sure. Really nice performance by Krez and really nice hustle for all the participants tonight. This is gonna be it for today. Only 6 matchups, but next week, if you wanna join the hustle and tussle, you know how it goes. You can join the Discord, where the sign-up forms are gonna be posted relatively soon. And for now, we bid you farewell and probably try to find a raid target. If we have Guilty Gear streamers online. Let me check the category. I think Gender Cross-Up is online today, right? But they're not online yet with the tournament stuff. Let's go raid. I see Patriarch Panda streaming. And Panda is one of our decently or rather recent new acquisition to our Bounty Hunters roster. Fellow Tio, and a really nice person, so let's go rate them. But yeah, that's all for us for this week. We'll see you again next Sunday, 5 p.m. CET. Every week, unless there's some sort of weird emergency. We're always gonna be online every Sunday for the FT7 action. Till next Sunday, once again, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for playing. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.